Y'all, something happened to my music. There it is. It was playing the wrong song. It was a StreamYard glitch. Here, we're here. Let's get it going. I'm excited to be here today. I didn't get to stream. Tonight. I didn't get to stream this afternoon. So I couldn't go a single day. I was itching to do this. So here I am. Happy Pride. Open panel. Etc. Etc. Wait, what? Why didn't we double stream? Hang on. I don't know what this is. Someone's sending me a stream that's going on right now. Well, I guess even an attempt to coordinate is rare in this panel verse. So since it is Pride, I did want to look at this Pew poll that came out. Oh, wait, there was a more recent one than that. Hang on. Let me find it. But anyway, the poll it shows that the support for here, maybe Wikipedia has it, that support for marriage is going up. And hi Noelle, I see you backstage. I don't know you yet, so I'm a little reluctant to have you on. But if somebody can vouch for you later, it's a possibility. Or you can type in the chat and who you are. I might, if I know you from somewhere else. Okay, wait. I was looking for a good graph. Well, I tell you what, I'll try to find it and show it tomorrow. Oh, you are DaFreak or DaFreak? Oh no, that's scary. A Frank Freak hybrid. Frank and I are trying to do a Frank Jeff hybrid live one day soon. Yeah, I'll just wait till some other people come up and then we can slip you in and see how it goes. I'm learning to be a little more discerning with who I bring on these panels. So when it's just me like this, I don't trust myself. In the meantime, I looked at the news. It was just Biden signing some border bill, like tightening it or strengthening it or something. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. After I find this gay marriage thing. Oh, here's one from Gallup. Okay, here's a recent one from Gallup. June of last year. Let's go with this. Oh, apparently the year before, Gallup recorded a high in support. Let's see what this is. 71% in general. This is the U.S. general public. So it's almost 3/4 of the nation. And in fact, look, watch. You can see the graph. Hang on. Hang on. Let me figure out which tab to share. They're so identical. Okay. I think it's this one. Look at this. Okay, this was when I was like just starting to do my gay thing. Clinton was president. Everybody was coming out, living openly, etc. I was in college. That's about right. I was more in like a specific bubble where the support was higher. So subjectively, it seemed higher than that. But I'll go with those numbers. But the point is, look, there's a few little dips here and there, and but look at this. We're at 70%. So this is my adult life. Over my adult life, look at how it's increased. So this narrative of persecution and homophobia is getting harder and harder to sustain when you look at the numbers, which I do. And they had one, let's see, is it this one? Pew did one with the religions, and it was like, hang on, let me try to find that one. By religious affiliation. Okay, look at this graph. Oh, Simon Hectic's doing a panel? Okay. Now you can see it start to dip about, I guess that's 2020. That's when all the George Floyd and social justice stuff happened. I even started to dip then. But up until that point, look at the support that they had among Catholics, Black Protestants, white mainline Protestants, white evangelical Protestants. The lines were going up on every single one of them. And a part of it is because of the younger generation, which the support is overwhelming. And there was another one by political party. Look at this. Republican, lean Republican. Look how high the support is. 75%, 76%. So my point is this line, if you look at religion, if you look at Republican Party, those were the traditional homophobes, the religious right-wing people. Even their graph is going up. So it becomes more and more of a narrative, or one of those like myths of meaning, those stories that give ourselves meaning, that we can fit facts into to find meaning. And the meaning is that there's this scary wave of religious right-wing people that are oppressing or have hostility or animus toward gay people. But the graphs don't show it. The polls don't show it. The numbers don't show it. The bills that got passed in Congress don't show it. For people like me that go by evidence and reality and how things are or appear to be, it's not jiving. So I wanted to highlight that tonight for Pride. So happy Pride, everybody. Support is up. People love the gays. They love the LGBs. And even if you don't, you're not obligated to in America. You can have whatever opinions or feelings. We have equality under the law. Legal and political equality. And that is the promise of America, not social equality. So, and like, I feel like we have even that, as the graphs just showed. So I'm not even worried about that. So, oh yeah. Okay. So here, I am the end all be all. No, Chuck. Today is Chuck Pride. We're going to celebrate Chuck and watch him celebrate himself, but without applause. So I work today, and I work in the or I did until today. It was my last day, actually. I work tangentially with the peer support program here in Washington State, and it's been changing for a while. I noticed it a lot during 2020. It went kind of woke, and not all of this is official change. Some of it's just cultural change, but like who's involved, who's more getting involved in the programs now, and who's leadership and trainers and stuff. That's what I'm talking about with more of a cultural change than an official change. But Washington State does have the Department of DEI. Hey, Cynthia, what's up? And they're in the process of updating the training manual for peer support. And that's when I think I'll be able to see the actual changes and tell what's different between the type of peer support that I was trained in, that I practice, and the new version, which I'm noticing signs of culturally, but I haven't seen an official, anything I could point to officially as this is different, this is new. But where all this is going is I'm going to attempt to kind of capture peer support as we call it the old way of peer support because it's changing into this new way. So I want to capture the old way and kind of do my own little peer support curriculum or training program, or people that want to become peer helpers, coaches, counselors. The state just passed a bill that kind of captures the title peer support specialist, and it makes it an official occupation with a license. And so you have to go through their hoops to use that title, or you will eventually once they get the program laid out and the certification, the licensing. So that leaves the rest of us free to use things like peer counselor, peer coaching, etc. And so if you hear me use peer support, I'm using it in the very loose sense, not in the new specialized sense, but some kind of look at what peer support is and the kind of humanistic, individualized, person-centered approach that's kind of a parallel to the humanistic, person-centered approach in the traditional mental health therapies, the humanistic and existential type that was the traditional type. Like in my generation, if you went to a therapist or sought out a therapist, that was most likely the type you were going to get. And now what the mental health world is changing to, and again, this is through the trainings, the accreditation programs, etc. Just like in the universities, the academies, it's changing to this more activist-oriented social justice model and more external locus of control, where whatever you're coming to the therapist for is an internalized symptom of something happening externally that you're not responsible for, that's a force of oppression, that if you rise up and fight against and become activists, you can solve your problem that way. And that's the new trend in the mental health side of it. And I think the peer support, we're starting to see it follow that. Or at least that's what I'm predicting is going to show up in it. If it's any, if the mental health feels any indication, or the clinical side's any indication. So I actually wanted to hang on. Remember we found that DEI department the other day? Well, I was on the federal site today looking for resources. Hang on, where did I find it? I got to look for it. I found two things actually that I want to show. Oh, yes, here. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna have to step away for a second. I tell you what. Let me play some snappy little video or something for a second. I have to step away, and then I want to show you this thing I found on the. Well, I'll show you when I get back. Hang on 1 second. Intermission. Watch Rowan work on this piano ballad, and I will be right back. Here we go. All right, I'm back. I hope y'all enjoyed all that. I don't even know what that was. I wasn't even in the room. So anyway, watch this. Okay, this is federal, y'all. This SAMHSA is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, an official website of the United States government. Here's how you know. So if you interested in all that. Okay. So this is federal government. Look what they got. Behavioral health equity advances behavioral health equity by reducing disparities in racial, ethnic, LGBTQIA, and other under-resourced communities across the country by improving access, blah, 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 blah. In fact, I will put the link. Director. Oh, they got a director. Let's see who this is. Oh, okay. I'll have to read up more on that. Hey, McNemesis. So, remember I talked about Washington State? It looked like it was captured by a by myth, like an ideology, that kind of mythological thinking, um, that was more concerned with keeping a group together than understanding things as they are, made its way into the state government, and now it looks like the federal government has behavioral health equity office. So just that's what's happening in my field, in my world. So one thing, none of them control me or YouTube. So the only people I'm accountable to on this channel ultimately is YouTube. And because they're the ones that can shut me down, shut me up, whatever. And so I have to play by their rules, and that's it. So I'm going to continue to use this channel to educate about peer support as I use it, as I understand it, as I was trained in it. I'm going to continue to advocate for person centered humanistic peer support. I'm going to continue to voice my objections to things that I see problematic in the movement, like the ideologies that are creeping in. Um, so stuff like that. And they can do what they want with that. And so that's what some of this is going to be. I want to at least preserve normal peer support in my little corner of the panelverse. Alrighty. Well, that's kind of all I got. I wanted to stream today because I didn't. I mean tonight because I didn't get to stream today. And I don't really know. I felt like I've been away from the panelverse for a whole, not even 24 hours, and so I wanted to catch up and check in and all that. This is our third place. This is like our cheers. The cheers. So I'm sitting at cheers by myself at the bar. I don't even think the bartender's here. Maybe I'm the bartender, and waiting for the crowd to come in. So that's what this stream is. So tell your friends or come on up or tell other people to come up. Let me see who's streaming right now. Oh, Flo's not streaming. Talcott's not streaming. Machine's not streaming. None of the big names are really streaming right now. So this is y'all's chance, guys. Y'all are missing out. Oh, dare I risk this? Let's see. I'm going to. Hang on, let me change something. Let's check in on our boy Ken. He made a video today. Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Ken here. Thank you for whoever stepped up. I'm just starting to revamp my channel again. I just want to let you know hi, and I hope everyone was doing so. Please like and subscribe. I'm just putting this short out to let you guys know what I'm up to. So I'm gonna probably go live tonight at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and have an open panel discussing like any topics you want to talk about. Make sure you want to join tonight at 9:30 to like 11. And yeah, everyone keep watching my videos, and I just want to let you know I love you all. Peace.
No, don't love them all. You don't love them all. Um, I love that people are starting all these channels. Like he said, that's right now. Let's see if he's live. Um, no, stream 3 hours to go. Stream, yes or no. It looks like he either didn't stream or ended early. Um, okay, well, God, I'm actually responsible for the content on my own channel tonight. I don't know what to show. Maybe there's some Pride stuff we could look at. Or do y'all want the anti-Pride tonight? Because this is also supposed to be a sanctuary from Pride, just as much as it's supposed to be a celebration of Pride. We do paradoxes here. So come up for that too. If you're struggling with pride or stressed out over it or want to give alternate perspectives on it, that would very much be welcome too. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here and continue to play on the internet and see if I find interesting things like Twitter. Let's see. No, I think that's it. There is this quote from George Orwell. I've read it before, but it showed up on my feed again, so I'll read it. He says it was always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies and nosers out of unorthodoxy. And he wrote like way back, but it sounds like today. Like he's like in on social media with us and seeing all this happening. But I have noticed that the world of social media and the world of reality, like people that don't immerse themselves in social media like we probably do, they're two different worlds. It's just like the Fox News bubble. It's just like people that get immersed in a soap opera or a TV show and then that becomes their world, etc. There's kind of a social media itself, there's like a strong meaning making element to it more than a fact finding element. Like I definitely come here to find truth and it helps me to do that. But I think a lot of people come here to find meaning and have their stories reinforced. And so it's like serving as both, which I guess television always kind of has. But it's all mashed together into this universe that's becoming its own like self-contained myth that's distinct from what you experience when you walk outside your house and the people you interact with them, unless you live in like a heavily politicized part of the country environment. And I'm just starting to notice the difference between the two modes. It's almost like when you take the VR helmet off or stop playing the video game or pull yourself away from the AOL chat room, etc. Existential projection, I think Northrop Frye calls it. When you like take what you read in fiction and literature and mistake it for something that's reflective of, like mistake it as reflective of something that actually exists out in reality. Like we get our fiction that, because that's kind of what happened in the early days anyway. We were sitting around the campfire telling stories. We were story based. They turned into myths, societies formed, et cetera, et cetera. And at some point that logical thinking developed, but that line was very blurry and uneven. And oh, hey Lindsay. I just I didn't get to stream today, so this was like my little hangout space. I was going for like a little happy hour after work. People drop in, hang out, and that's what I came up with. At first, I thought like based in the basement, like a little underground speakeasy club in the basement somewhere. But I said no, that's too abstract. Besides, we're based as hell. And oh, so what was I talking about? And so remember, logic is the minority. That's not the most humans that have ever existed and still do. So that line between myth and logic is very blurry, and we use both. And so I think a lot of people are we've been steeped in I think it was Lionel Trilling that said it was left to Freud to discover how in a scientific age we still think and feel in tropes, like metaphor, synecdoche, literary figurations. I guess it's being aware of how both of those coexist in us, and social media, and the difference between the two realities. And we talked about that fourth and fifth phase comedy where you or even the personality map where you have those two kind of levels side by side, and eventually one of them becomes more desirable than the other, and that's the one you focus on because it reflects your personality idea. I don't know. These are all thoughts that are just coming out to fill in time. Let me see. What else is going on? Lindsay, I watched a little bit of you trying to, or not even trying, I think giving feedback to Flo because he seemed to acknowledge some of it. And I thought that was a cool conversation to have. And I kind of even like that you take notes. Um, it's interesting to me that the potential for people to get like the intellectually curious types that some of these streams have the potential to draw are the types that would like get really invested and take notes and analyze, and that might be disconcerting to some people, but I thought about it today after watching that, and I'm like, I like that people are putting that much mental effort into like trying to grasp, because I think this is kind of a new medium. Like we're in the middle of something that's happening at and we're becoming aware of it as it's happening, and we don't have the historical perspective yet to look back and see what exactly it was. So we're kind of in the middle of it. And there's no way we can have that. All we have is our imaginations. And so to have people that while this process is happening to be able to grasp it and capture it and analyze it and study it, I really admire. There's some streamers that do that too. They do analysis of other streams, and I know Tommy has a lot of panel lore. I think all of that's very valuable, and I'm glad it's getting captured. Yeah, I didn't know that the I'm one of the people that don't go on Flo's panel, and not because of Flo personally. He's part of a pattern of panels that seem to that drama triangle white knight issue keeps coming up. So and to me that's evolutionary. So once I identify it, I just stay away from it. But so my critiques are a little bit different, but I have noticed his states do flow. They do. They do be flowing, and they're not always pleasant, but I could aim the same critique at myself and a lot of other people in the panel verse. And I was about to gender it, but I don't even know if it's gendered. I was going to say like a lot of men have that side to them that I call it my demon, but the werewolf, you see it come out in Talcott sometimes, Machine, um, me a lot. And but then women have their like version of their demon too. So I think like we're complex creatures. We have big ape, gorilla, monkey brains and evolution. Like all those. Remember we looked at the personality map and that first factor, all the biological stuff, our primitive instincts, um, sexual appetites, lust, aggression, violence, fighting, defense, etc., and self-preservation. All that's tied up in that limbic, like monkey brain or even reptile lizard brain. We still have all that in us, and part of that feeds into our motivations, thoughts, behaviors, emotions. I've heard thoughts described as like I forgot the exact phrase and I'll have to find it, but they're like fossilized emotions or something. Like they start as emotions. So whatever thoughts are, there's some form of emotional content that has been that is now in the form of thought as memory. Like there's some kind of emotional memory in thought. Um, so we have all of that in us. And I don't even think like Queen Elizabeth herself, or the most refined, polished, like Emily Post Railways etiquette person in the world, has 100% mastery and control over that side of themselves at any given time. So to see panel people like Flo and me and all that have our little sides and show our little demons, I think it's more like more authentic as a human, or more honest. It's at least more realistic to me, and to me it's better to, like, again, going back to this medium being so new and such an opportunity, um to show it like in a healthy way, and get it out there, get it on display, talk about it, analyze it, dissect it. We could get it from all the different people's sides and start to see it in a way that doesn't often happen in real life. So again, that's all in how you frame things, what stories you make of the facts. And so I don't dispute the facts that you described today. I'm just experimenting with different ways of different stories and ways of fitting them together. But I'm still not going on this panel, or others, because the scapegoat archetype, which is like when we look at our stories, like deep at the bottom of them, there's like this mythological layer that's embedded with archetypes from childhood, and it usually involves like one parental figure or another, or maybe idealizing ourselves like we're the golden child, superhero, etc. On that deep mythological level. And most of us, yeah, exactly. We all have our little ways. It's Schopenhauer and the hedgehogs all over again. We're a bunch of hedgehogs or porcupines all crammed together, and our quills keep poking into each other. We all have them, and I get poked, and I poke, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, the inner troll. That's a wonderful way of looking at it. In fact, Heinrich Ibsen, the Norwegian playwright, actually used that theme in his characters, trollishness. I forgot what I was saying about the mythology stuff. It seemed important. Damn, I wish I could find that connection. Yeah, and but I think gossip is important. What's that quote? The most powerful force in the universe is gossip, and I think that's probably true. And so I think gossip is important. Gossip is data. I grew up in gossip, and I learned. My grandmother was a master. Gossip's not a bad thing to me, or even a dirty word. And I've watched it, and I've watched it used expertly in like action. I've watched people receive it and what they do with it and how they employ it. I grew up immersed in that, and like I took it in without even knowing what it was or what I was taking in. That's how steeped I am in gossip. So I know what to do with gossip when it's around. Well, we have Miss Lindsay herself.
Speak of the devil. I'm even wearing red.
Oh, I summoned a demon. Do you have well, we like to play with fire, and it sounds like you do too. Do you have any fire to bring tonight on anybody?
The only fires that I can actually, or am I too loud? I can't tell. I'm
No,
echo.
it's me. I gotta change my setting. Yeah, that should be better.
Okay. I only like playing with fire. I still have the echo. It's kind
Oh,
of tripping me out.
is it gone when I mute,
1, 2.
or do you have
Yeah,
YouTube playing?
yeah, it's gone. Thank you.
Is it gone? Okay.
Hi, room. Yes, I do like to play with fire. Not in an evil way,
No, me neither.
but when retribution is deserved for some reason or another, I have a hard time holding back. And that, I believe, is a fault. But it's also probably one of those annoying character traits. It's probably one of those things about me. And, everybody values different things in a certain order. I
Mhm.
value authenticity too much because
How
I
you
often say what I
what is it?
think. I value authenticity too much
Oh yeah.
because talking about, fallibilities, because in order to truly be yourself at all times, it's extremely difficult to do. And you risk offending people like nuts, like you want friends, you have to be a certain amount of, you got to hold back some truths. But what I've discovered here on YouTube is sometimes I would just rather put my own integrity and authenticity above the need to be somebody's fake friend or lie or cover up and pretend like something's okay when it's not. And that is a choice. And it's a negative choice because it gives off the view of righteousness. Like you think you're virtue signaling or you're better than other people. It comes with certain judgments. And I think we all suffer that here because there's no one who knows you as truly as you do, but other people can perceive us as being, like the stereotypes you suggested and the archetypes, the evil one, the bad girl, the bad boy, the troll, and we just kind of use this as maybe a cape to or a freedom to attack people and put them in one certain category, when the truth is both, you, DaFreak, me, every single person in this room has many facets to their personality, and not all of them are bad and not all of them are good.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted to run something by you after you comment on that too.
Okay. What you just said sounds very realistic to me. And I remember what I wanted to say about the mythology thing. Like when you put somebody like me whose deep archetype is the scapegoat, somebody like Flo or other panelists that White Knight, like that's in their archetype, that is not a good combination to have to get. So once those like deep inner myths start to show through or archetypes, that's kind of a signal for me. And that might be some of what we're seeing. It's like this deeper stuff showing through in those little moments.
And what is wrong if they do show through, whether they're good or bad or however you want to label them?
I think they just are. I think the moralizing comes from your value system, which comes from your story, which is personal and cultural and different for each person.
Yeah.
So I just try to be descriptive about it. And that's what the streaming is good for, because it just captures it as it's happening with kind of just objectively without, and then the commentary comes later through the viewers and everything. But we at least get the moment, the event captured with no particular perspective. Does anyone know Noelle Coach?
Just saw her in the other room.
Okay. Well, go ahead and tell me what you want to bring up, and then we'll see if maybe we can go after that.
Well, you got me thinking when you started talking about the Jungian. At least I associate it with Jung. The archetypes, the themes. The tragic hero. How there's like 3 or 4 different types of heroes. I'm forgetting them all because I'm on the spot.
I'm going to talk about that tomorrow on my show. Yeah.
Wow, we're in sync. I wonder what came first, the idea and putting to words of the archetype and the symbols and their importance in our society, or the fact that they even existed to such a obvious extent. Like, I wonder what came first, the cart or the horse, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. Did we become more archetypal as time went on and we were aware of these archetypes? And archetypes can also be a way of being pigeonholed.
Yeah.
Like if you're the bad guy here on one day, then you're always the bad guy. So I wonder when you become aware of things and when you can put words to them, do they become more pronounced?
That's an excellent. Yeah. Philosophers and literary critics have both been debating that for a while, because like that's representation, and we don't know, because in at least Western, our first kind of really starting point for representation that we have is Homer and the Iliad and the Odyssey, and it's in such an advanced stage that probably all of those stages you described happened before that point, and that's when it first got captured in a format that could be passed on like it was, so that other generations could kind of get to see that same experience that it was trying to capture. So did that representation, the way, like Achilles, say the hero, the way he was portrayed by Homer and captured in that particular way, did that influence
I absolutely think
that
it did.
archetype from that point forward? Or was he capturing something that was pre-existing that formed him?
Or a little bit of both.
Right, exactly. And I don't think we ever know, but that dialectic is probably there, and we can experience in our own life too, with when we, like, how much are we ourselves, I guess, and how much are we in control of who we are.
Yeah, and how does awareness or understanding of new ideas and new ideologies affect us in terms of our behaviors and what we do and how we are?
I love that, DaFreak. DaFreak, you're welcome to come up too. Well, I don't know Noelle. Do you want to try bring her on? Or?
Why not?
Okay, Noelle, we're gonna give you a try.
I noticed she put crying in there.
Hi. Hi, how are you guys doing today?
Hi, how are you? What's up?
Good. Frank, come up, please. I'm Frank. I'm here. Frank, come up.
Are you Frank, like just Frank's, or
I am Frank's friend. I talked to him yesterday on the phone. Yes, I'm his friend.
Frank? Just Frank, or DaFreak?
Yes,
just Frank, the monkey.
Just Frank's friend.
Okay, well then I have to accept you. His word is pretty solid.
He's really nice. He's really nice. Frank, come up. Frank.
We're talking to your
Frank,
friend.
come up.
He won't come up. That's the thing. He's sending his minions to join the panel, but he
Why?
Won't come up. I don't know. He said he'll come up when the right people are up, so maybe he'll come up.
Oh, he doesn't like me. That's right. Frank.
Well, Freak. Hey,
fine.
Listen. If that's true, then it can be used for good too, right? Like it.
Well, also I can be quiet and let him speak and not a hard time too. I'm capable of that.
No, go ahead.
Frank, really be nice. Oh my gosh.
So Noelle, you seem new to this side of this part of the panelverse, so give us a little introduction.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. What?
I said you're new to all of us, so give us a little introduction about yourself.
So I'm Noelle. I'm 24 years old, and I have special needs. I have learning disabilities, ADHD, speaking problems. I like to do a lot of stuff and fun stuff with my friends. And I work at McDonald's. And I live with my parents. I have a boyfriend. A boyfriend, yes.
Oh, I wasn't sure today when I was asking you questions in chat if you saw them because I was asking you what guys you like the best, and I wasn't trying to be any kind of way other than to have fun asking kind of girly questions. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. But what I don't know about you is, are you okay talking about that kind of thing, like who you would find to be attractive, or maybe
Yes,
who you like
yes,
best? Okay,
yes,
good. So I
yes.
didn't I
A little bit,
heard.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a 24.
And I talk too much. Yes, I do. Oh my
Who told you
gosh. And I ask
too much
the
for
same
who?
questions every time.
You met my co-host Chris. Too much for who?
Chris?
You said you talk too much?
Yes, I do.
Who told you
Really
that?
much. What?
Who told you that?
Myself. I learn
Oh,
by myself. Yes.
well,
I learn by myself. I do. I learn. Yes. I learn. I taught too much. I repeat the same things over and over again. And I play track,
oh,
basketball. Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Well, you seem to be doing pretty good.
Yes. Thank you. I'm not nervous at all to talk to people. I like to make friends, and some people do not accept me for that.
Has YouTube and the Panelverse kind of been able to help you with that?
Yes, my talking, yes, because I can slow down my speech.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that a lot with some neurodivergent people are really thriving here.
Yes, and people do not understand that I have that special needs problems, and they kick me out, and they tell me, "Oh, you're trolling. Oh, stop faking it." Yeah, blah blah
That
blah.
seems fake to me. But kicked you out of where? Out
They
of
kicked
school?
me out of some panels.
Oh, out of
And
panels. Yeah, that's
yeah,
gonna happen. I've been kicked out of panels too, and I've left panels.
yes, they do.
We don't fit in everywhere. I don't think anybody does, but we have our
Yeah.
particular little needs and fussiness.
I still want to go back
Yeah.
to the other topic if we can,
Oh,
but
to the
I
archetype.
also don't want Noelle to feel interrupted.
We can
I
do that.
just can we talk about some other different topics? I really do like it because I need help, like kind of help. Like I need to learn things. Like stop repeating myself every single time, and I can't control it.
You can't control what?
I can't control. I can't repeat myself every single time.
That may just be part of you. Have you have you seen someone growing up or like any kind of special services?
Yes.
Maybe Ken has some
Yo,
insight.
what happened? Sorry,
Hi,
just got
Ken. How are you? Remember
good.
me? We
Yeah,
talked.
kind of.
Why am I not surprised?
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
remember. Sorry, I just got a haircut the other day, yesterday.
I like
So
it. I like it, Ken.
thank you. I'm like super tired because I just got home from church. So
I wish we had breakout rooms here. I want to prioritize the interesting, deep conversations, but I
yo,
also am
Jeff,
trying to have space for
Jeff,
neurodivergent people to, and so
excuse me.
it's juggling both of those.
What
What's
are we
up, Ken?
talking? What are we talking about? But before we get into that, I showed my friend your channel because he's GAY and he liked your channel, so he subbed up. I told him to sub up, and he'll join.
Oh,
What?
thank you.
He'll join when you can. Hi Noah, how are you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. Yes. We
I'll tell you what I'll
finally
do. We'll Lindsay, we'll have chit chat for a while, and then when Freak comes up, we can get to the deep stuff.
Freak? I'm not no
Yeah.
freak.
No,
How about
you
when he
got me.
joins in 5 minutes?
Yo,
He
what's
said
up,
he was coming in
Noelle?
5 minutes.
Do you know
Yeah.
how Miss Anne's doing? Have you talked to her at all?
I don't even know Miss Ann.
No, Noelle.
Oh.
Miss
Oh my
Ann,
God.
Miss Ann's
I feel
doing
left out of the
so
panel
good.
versus everybody knows
She's
everything.
in
Nashville.
Nashville right now.
I know. I seen her videos of her with Dumpling, and Dolly Vision put actually, Miss Anne put Dolly in a headlock, and that was so funny. She's having
Yeah.
a good time. I'm glad. I actually sent her roses before her trip
Really?
as a
Wow.
gift. So
Did you work today?
yes, it was
Same
disaster.
to me
Was she there?
too.
We had the police there because apparently
What happened?
Apparently last night someone tried walking out with $1,000 before the store was about to close. Yeah,
No.
but
Dang.
I can't say how, but by this.
No, yeah, I was about to say I wouldn't give too many details.
Yeah, because I don't know how YouTube can be.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on Jungian archetypes? Do you know your archetype is the Madonna child? I can see it from here. I don't even have to go
guess who
look
decided?
into the depths.
Speaking about, guess who decided to quit?
Who?
Huh?
And I don't have to see them anymore. Or
Wait, the girl quit? The manager girl
Yep.
quit?
She quit today. She walked right out, and I blocked her on the thing as soon as possible, so I don't
Oh,
even
that was a
contact
kind
her.
of abrupt ending. That one
That
got
was that was God saying something to me.
or Satan.
So, or Satan, as you would say, but what? Yeah, because she was not. I'm glad God took it out of my life. Something I
Squeeze
shouldn't.
you up.
What are you playing with, a feather?
A straw yes. A straw. I like this. These straws makes me calm down and we cope it.
Like to
Yeah.
soothe, to stem
How's
and
your
soothe.
boyfriend doing, Noelle?
Good.
Good?
My boyfriend's doing really, really good. Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
How long have y'all been dating?
For a long time.
Bro,
This,
get the ring already.
no thanks. No,
don't-
that's not for me. I'm sorry. I feel uncomfortable now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Well, this is an unsafe space.
Sorry.
So when you get too
Sorry.
uncomfortable, just sign
I'm
off.
sorry. I'm keeping my mouth shut. Sorry,
That's
Noelle.
okay. That's okay.
I didn't know. My bad.
Provo,
That's
come
okay.
up and let's boost it to the
Noelle,
moon,
is there?
to the
Can I ask?
stars.
Is there anything you don't like people to say to you? Because if
I don't like sex. I do not like.
no, we're good. We're good.
Do you know Ken? You and Ken know each other?
I'm fine. I'm good. We're not talking about that. That was my past. Thank God I don't have to deal with that. Because that was my coworker. That's why I bought my coworker.
Is that okay? I am in here. I'm sorry. I just want to be friends with everybody, and I just want to know how they are. I'm sorry. It's not really.
I definitely relate.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to be a friendship. I'm not trying.
Panel friendship, not.
Yeah, panel friendship. And what, Jeff?
Yes,
Why do you make me look
friends.
good, bro?
I want to know what else we can't talk about or shouldn't talk about because I really don't know.
Yeah, me either. I just don't want to know.
She can learn to handle her
I don't
triggers.
want you to get upset, Noelle. I'm sorry if I said that.
She's on panel because I invited her on the panel to give her critique. She's a panel analyst.
I'm glad you're doing okay, Noelle.
Yes, I am.
I'll be praying for
Noelle,
you.
what other topics should we stay away from?
Stay away from uncomfortable stuff. Like,
I don't know what
yeah, but I don't know what makes you uncomfortable.
Provo, why you
This is
exposing
definitely
me?
not a G-rated stream.
Yo, Provo, why you
Partly
exposing
because of
me?
Ken. I think he put a whole X on it just himself.
Jeff, it's fine. I can deal with it. It's my own self, and I know things about myself.
No, you're good.
That's
you're
based.
good, Noelle.
Based
You're
as
good.
hell.
I'm glad
So
you're
it's
on
just,
this.
yeah, tell me
Yeah.
or stop me if I get.
Hey, can I say
Okay.
something real quick? I am glad that I'm your friend on the panel.
Yeah.
That's
Stay
all.
with me too.
And I'll
Yeah,
be
stay with
praying
me
for you.
too.
You're like a sister to me. Can I say that?
Thank
Oh my,
you. Yeah.
oh
Can
my
I?
Yes, you
God, y'all are
can.
going way over the top with this. But
Yo,
go ahead, it's
yo,
cute to
can
watch. Go ahead.
Jeff? Can you excuse me? Can you tell Provo to zip his lips because he's putting stuff in the chat that is not true.
Well, correct him. I can't. He's not
Provo,
going to listen to me.
hey, Provo Planet, me and Graythorpe or Grace.
Bravo, can you come up here?
Provo, I am not dating her. We're just friends.
No,
We haven't
we're
even
just
met yet.
friends.
We haven't even met
You
yet.
did say she was supposed to go to your house, and remember, she's not a topic I really.
Yeah,
want to
that's no Chuck.
Yeah, Provo.
that's-
This is a Thorpe free zone. So.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about here. That's why I don't want to talk about it because Jeff gets Jeff, can you please not mention that? If you want to mention in my panel, you can. But this, to be respectful, this is Jeff's panel, and I am a wrench. So as a wrench, I
He's
want to
invoking
help.
that wrench.
As a wrench,
Ken, what's your YouTube channel? Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah, let me put it. I'll pop it.
Thank you, Jeff. As a wrench, I want to do my job, and can you please, I'm asking you nicely, can you please not mention her name here on Jeff's channel because he doesn't like that.
Whose name? I'm confused.
Can I just say the name real quick, Jeff? Jeff, can I just say the name real quick?
It's in the people can see it in the comments. We don't have to
Yeah.
give her any more promotion than she already can get for herself.
I think you should silence Provo again.
Lindsay, do you know who that is, right?
Provo? Yeah.
No, the girl.
Oh, the G word? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ken's not allowed to mod. Like, my wrenches don't mod. So if you catch them modding, that's it. They lose their wrench.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to do that.
To like post links and promote the channel and
hey, can I say that?
People to like and subscribe.
Hey, can I say, Provo? I do not how to do that. As a respect, as a wrench, I am never ever blocking anyone or timing out because that's not my job.
No, we don't.
We don't do that.
I'll do
here.
the
I'm
modding
sorry.
around here, and it's very rare that I have to do any of it. So.
Yeah, I'm just a wrench because all I'm a wrench for is to make sure hit the like button and sub up. Who's ever watching, make sure you hit the like, sub up. If you want to, it's free.
It's like a horse head.
But I want to add on. I know Jeff is gonna get me for this, but I want to add on. You do get some rewards.
I don't know what rewards he's talking to Ken because I don't know what rewards.
From me, you'll get rewards. If there's a new sub, or you'll eventually get a reward if you've been here long enough. Okay. I will mail you a gift card or something.
How's that pizza? How's that pot pie?
Or I'll mail you some food as a free gift on my part.
Look, we're getting a request.
Oh no! Did Chuck?
We get monetized.
Chuck, did you see my live before? Is that why you said that?
Well, Noelle, do you have anything else you want to share or learn? Or
I just want to be in here and talk to you guys. That's what I want to be and learn from you guys.
Okay, well.
Did you see
my new... true? And please do not kick me out, please.
No, I'm not kicking you. You might discover you want to take yourself out at certain points because it can get spicy.
Can I say something? You're always welcome here, Noelle. Don't let anyone ever tell you on panels that you aren't welcome. And everyone loves you in every community you join.
And that's when I do the open panel because it's not always open panel, but open panel.
I'm just saying this as a friend. I'm just saying this as a YouTube friendship here. We all love you.
Well, Provo, stick around because when Freak gets here, we're gonna go deep. What's your archetype? Provo's archetype is the fool. I can see that one from here.
Oh, can I say something real quick? Everyone,
the wandering fool.
Everyone, if you know my channel, I'm doing a birthday stream on June 20th because it's my birthday that day, and I'll be big 25.
Are you gonna have your Burger King
Ooh.
crown?
Happy
Damn,
free birthday.
I'm old.
Are you a Leo? Or is that before?
I'm Gemini, Lisa. How about you?
It's Lindsay.
I
I'm a
mean,
Capricorn.
Lindsay. Sorry.
It's not a problem.
Have you talked to
Capricorn, but
Lindsay before? You didn't even notice her.
No, I did her picture. I'm not even gonna say that because I don't want to sound like a flirtatious dude, but I'm just going like your
Feel
picture
left
looks
out.
good.
You were throwing yourself at every single female, anything that slightly resembled
Thank you.
female, and she's sitting here, one of the most.
I'm enjoying to get to know people and have friendships
Same.
before I can even
I noticed
start a
something
relationship
different
with people.
myself.
Like that person I cannot mention. We are only hanging out to see if it will grow into a relationship. You know what I mean?
So he's not completely wrong. He wasn't
Lindsay,
telling lies, like you said.
Lindsay. I
But
mean,
I don't want to talk about it. That's not the topic I want to talk about.
that's her name, Lindsay, right?
Lisa.
Mhm.
I mean,
Lisa
Lisa.
Smith.
Sorry, it
Agent
keeps
Lisa.
getting me
Lindsay.
confused. It gets me confused to the D.
Yeah, practice. Lindsay's a great person to practice on, actually.
Excuse me, Ken.
What?
Do you have like a speech problem or like special needs? I'm sorry.
No, you go. You can
Who,
ask.
me?
Yes, I
think
do
all of us.
actually.
Excuse
So
I
me
have
too.
I have epilepsy and
I was in
a
speech
difficult
therapy.
thing
What is that?
where you have seizures out of the blue, or you just stare like direct stare at. Say if I'm staring at the wall, and then you just black out.
It's a
It's just-
brain thing.
Yeah. I
So
kind of.
should I tell them what I have?
It's up to you.
I have learning problems, ADHD, and talking problem, like a impediment, a speech impediment.
I get it. Respect. We all respect people like that.
Whoever
People
told
with-
you that, I
Can
want
I
to talk to them.
Can I say people with
Yeah.
disabilities should be respected? I hate
Yeah.
panels that make fun of because I have this panel who I still hang out with. I don't know why.
Oh, which one? Which one is it? The people's.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they bully me too, Ken. Oh my
They're
God.
like Summer. You know Summer.
Summer is. Oh, I hate her.
Excuse my.
Oh,
Excuse my
sorry, I hate
language.
her.
Excuse
What
my
world did
language.
I wake up
Noelle,
into?
but she's a jackass and a little pussy.
Yeah, she is. She is. Summer. Oh, excuse me, Jeff. Jeff. That's the people who said my disability's fake, and Summer said that too.
Summer.
And they're just jealous because
Yeah.
jealous.
Well, you know we don't talk to her.
Actually, I'm the one that told Jeff to join that, but he refused. And then that's before I knew they were making fun of me.
Freak.
Lisa, can you please join that one?
Can I please what?
Lisa.
Please.
I'm gonna go with it.
Can you please join that group because you probably will shut them up? Yes.
Well,
That's
why-
not a
no, wait. And what's the thing about joining groups to shut people up? What's that
Lindsay, I have a question, Lindsay. Do you have a channel so I can join you in case I
Yes.
wanted to bring you up as a guest?
I do, but I don't have any videos. I don't have any videos or anything for anyone to watch. So it's like,
She's-
Do you
I'm not
want
a
to
streamer.
Do you
She's
want
more
to
of
add
an
me?
observer.
Do you want to look up
hangs out in
my
the comments.
my channel? So when,
Yeah, I would
so-
definitely add you if Jeff will let you post your link, or you could just do it backstage, huh?
Yeah, Jeff,
Yeah,
can you post my link, please?
I did post it, but here it is again.
Thank you, Lisa, because I would love to have you come up as a guest.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Panel parasite. Well,
Challenge
Provo. My first thought is it takes one to
Jeff?
know one.
Jeff,
What
are
makes
you
someone
eating?
a panel parasite?
Jeff, what are you eating? Are you eating a
Ken,
donut? Yes.
how did you find the People's Podcast?
So I
Oh
went
my.
through. I accidentally came up because it said, you know how you can click the live link and it gives you a
Yeah,
bunch of live podcasts. That's how I
yeah.
found it, and I joined. First they were nice to me, but then now they go overrated, call me a little boy, and now I can't get blank. I'm not mentioning that, but
That's part of YouTube.
yeah, and they're calling me. No, they're like, oh, blah blah blah.
There you go, Provo. All righty, we're
Oh,
shifting
why
into
is his name called DaFreak? That's what I want
deep,
to know.
deep panel.
You don't
The
know
freak. Why are you
Hi,
calling?
DC
how
Talks?
are you, DaFreak?
Nominated
How are
freak.
you?
Hello.
Hi,
see
how
you
are
again.
you today?
Yo, Lindsay, question. How did you find Jeff's channel?
I met
Yes,
Jeff.
it's compliment.
I think.
What?
So that's
Did
what
I-
the panel verse is here for, Provo. I still want to hear DaFreak's answer.
What's
Oh, somebody's making noise.
I was actually gonna do a live tonight about the topic dating, but it's too late for me to
Why
do
don't
it.
you do that? You and Noelle can do a dating chat, and we can
Nah,
do like the deep archetypal level of it.
Alexa? September.
I don't know if she would be interested in doing. No, bro, Provo, no. Can you behave before I do put you on? No, I wouldn't put you on. I will.
I
I
know
will
that
block.
just sounds like normal panel verse, like clicking links and going on panels. That's what everybody in
Provo,
the
can you
panelverse
behave,
does. That's what
please?
makes the panelverse the
Jeff,
panelverse. It keeps it going.
Jeff, can you tell Provo?
No, he's right there. You can tell him, and
Because I tell him to.
we're
I
going
told
to
him
our
to
deep
behave.
topics now.
Yeah.
So,
Hi,
do you
Chuck.
have anything
How
you
are
want to
you?
wrap up with?
Hi, Noelle.
Do you remember me, Chuck, or no?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the one that suggested they'd have you come over here.
Oh, okay. She said it was Frank.
Well,
Oh,
behind the scenes, I was.
I get it.
Oh,
The freak.
you're the puppet master.
No, not puppet
Hey,
master.
Chuck, what's up?
It's just everywhere she was going, she was getting the boot before she could even say 4 words.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Girl on.
Hi, Ken. How are you doing tonight?
Seeing if my girl's on.
Well, you want to go see her because I
No,
told
she's
Lindsay that
not
we
on.
could
She's
can
not on. I
continue
call
our.
her my girl, but she isn't
Okay,
my
but
girl. She's
Ken,
just my
listen.
friend.
Either way, I told Lindsay we would talk about our.
Yeah, what's the
Topic.
topic for tonight? Can you please let me
It's-
know? I'll mute.
It's going to
All
be
right, calm down.
archetype, Carl Jung and archetypes and stuff like that. So in
I
fact,
don't know much
chat a little
about.
bit more. I'm gonna go grab a refill and then I'll come back and Lindsay can
Okay.
shift us back to our discussion. So one
Okay.
moment.
Hey, Lindsay, can you give me an example on what the topic is? Because I'm not sure. I never heard of this.
Archetype.
He was talking about, yeah, what Chuck said, archetypes, symbols, mythology.
don't-
Can you grasp the concept, or is it confusing to you?
To be
'Cause if you-
honest,
I
it's
can explain
confusing.
it.
Like I said,
He might need a definition.
Like I said, that's my other issue. I have learning issues. Like I can't comprehend things most people have.
Well, when you think of the word hero, who or what do you think of?
Superman, heroes that people that can save you, type of thing.
Exactly. That's an archetype of a hero. It's
Oh,
just a person or thing that represents something else.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You okay,
And then,
Noelle?
then we were first we're discussing what comes first, the chicken or the egg, meaning did the archetype or the symbol exist before we were able to articulate it or say it or put it into words,
Yeah.
or did it actually become more pronounced because we were able to put it into words? Yeah, I can see how that would be confusing concept. And then I was going to ask Gen F a question, Gen X, a question relating it to another topic altogether. It's kind of the reason why it's kind of hard to understand is because it's conceptual, meaning it's not something that it's not like a table or a chair, something that's can be clearly named. It's sort of an idea.
Hi, Cynthia. Welcome.
You talking about archetypes?
Yeah.
Sort of, but they can also be embodied, felt, and lived without necessarily being conceived too. So there is a conceptual, like I think that's what people that go to therapy do is try to bring out that conceptual element.
But they're, as
there's
opposed to something that's concrete, they're sort of obtuse.
Hmm.
It can mean something a little bit different to each person, right?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, they ultimately do exist in the mind when we're talking about them, trying to identify them, etc. And that's why I like Northrop Frye so much, because he studies them in literature. He doesn't necessarily relate them to people or the real world or collective unconscious or anything like that. So you can still look at them, but it doesn't necessarily have to be real or concrete.
That's
but
true.
Psychologically, like when we're talking about our personal myths and stories and stuff, that seems to have real world implications as well as the abstract.
Yeah. It's just talking about these subjects is just, I was trying to make the point that it's just not as easy to understand as something, like, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Something that we all know exactly.
Oh, right. Like, what's your archetype?
Right.
Or,
well, as topics go, it's just kind of, I don't know. Sorry, I'm at a loss for words. It's just kind of obtuse to some people and not very accessible. And I don't know if it would be like that to Ken or not.
probably not, but I'm not worried about that.
Okay. My
Freak,
question
do you
for
have
you
any
is,
thoughts on the topic?
Actually, I'm kind of lost, and I've got a couple things going, so I'm a little bit lost, and I don't even know what we're talking about. So
Okay, well, just jump in whenever.
Okay. So
going off of that. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting.
You talking about the chicken or the egg or something else, or what was it?
Nah. I'm gonna let him run his own stream and quit talking so much.
Oh no, I don't. This is for people that would talk. I'm kind of just the host, the facilitator. It came up in the context of like flow and the different sides of people, and then I talked about like those underlying mythological or archetypal patterns that drive a lot of us, like the scapegoating, the white knighting, damsel in distress, the mother child, Madonna child, etc. Archetypes, like at the bottom of all of that. And then that's what led to the archetype conversation.
What do you think of the archetypes of the people in here, including Ken? You already got him. You said Madonna child or something like that, right?
Well, that's what I would call Ken, since he's looking for a mother figure, cougar, femdom type.
I am not looking for a cougar.
And playing in the child role or the infant role.
Hey, Jeff,
He's
I am
looking
not
for a
looking
milk.
for a cougar. Be a good boy.
You
I'm
said-
looking for. Hey, it doesn't mean I'm a hooker.
It was
If
on
I
the
like-
stream coming out of your
Hey,
mouth. I would never have even known
Hey,
that.
can I say something? I said
Yes.
I like older women. Don't mean I'm looking for a cougar. I'm looking for a serious relationship that's gonna lead to marriage and something that.
They marry cougars marry.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for a cougar. That's the wrong term to say.
I retract.
I'm
Go by
looking
what
for-
Ken says.
I'm looking for a partner in crime.
In crime.
Yeah.
You're also looking for a mother of your children.
Yes, that's what. Lindsay, do you understand what I'm saying?
Not really. But to go back to the archetype thing, I think it's a very powerful but underrated subject. In this world now, we see propaganda and narratives and being able to effectively label a person as in a certain light in a certain way is very powerful.
Yo, Daniel,
It's very influential on people.
Hey, hang
Daniel,
on.
So
DaFreak,
that influence sometimes is very hard to overcome unless you kind of directly head it on and stand up for yourself in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's a very powerful subject. It's very underrated.
It can be duplicitous, like just about anything you look at, where that has the good and the bad side. It can pigeonhole, or it can help you understand better. I don't know, just depending on which way you
It's
look
just
at it.
supposed to be like a rough guide or sketch. It's a structure. It's a skeleton of that you build something richer and deeper on. And my ultimate test is, does it help? Does it work? Is it helpful to you? If it's helpful to you to kind of be aware of an archetypal pattern that persistently plays out in your life, then maybe it has some value. If not, throw it out. Don't use it.
Well,
What would you say
a lot
your
of what we
archetype is?
see. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lindsay.
We started at the same time. I've already been talking for a while, so go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say what we see on the left a lot of times is the narrative pushing and the labeling and they are trying to always, it seems like, tear down the archetypes, and what I could say is to masculinity as a man, masculinity used to mean basically being able to beat up everybody else. If you could physically dominate, you were the man in charge.
The top
That's
gorilla.
all changed in this in this day and age. It's more about persuasion than it is about actually fighting skill. So archetypes are always changing, it seems like, more and more now in this world.
Yeah, you
So
want to know when that change started? If you compare Achilles to Odysseus, you'll see the exact same change you just described. That's how embedded these are in our culture, that we're playing them
yeah, that's
out
true.
thousands of years later.
Interesting.
Or they're representing something about us that it just happened to capture so effectively. It goes back to the life imitate art. Does life imitate art? Does art imitate life? Is it both?
Yeah.
We're definitely shaped by our
Both.
art, our stories, our mythology, our religion, like the things we create shape us, and the things that rise enough to a high enough level, like that seem sacred and holy, are going to shape us in a powerful way.
wow,
It really does.
that was powerful what you were saying. I want to hear what Chuck's opinion on this is.
Yeah, Chuck, what you guys say about archetypes?
Chuck?
Uh-oh.
Oh, are we
My
being
audio keeps cutting out. I don't know what's going
I
on.
couldn't handle losing Chuck.
I thought he was trolling us for a minute.
No, I think
I'm
my
sure he
battery's
is.
getting low on my headset.
Do you want me to get a new headset set for you, brother?
No, I just need to charge it. I've been gone all day. I haven't had time to plug it in.
How's your grass? Is it still cut?
It's wet. It's been raining
It's
for the
still
last
cut.
2 days now.
Let's get back to the topic, but I want to hear what your opinion is on this, Chuck.
I just got my audio back, so I'm not sure what you're asking.
Archetypes.
What's your opinion on this topic? Archetypes or something?
Well, my only dealing with Young was from the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Young was he was quite the inspiration for the writing of the book, the concept of Alcoholics Anonymous, the Jungian theory.
Television is live.
What did he have to say?
He was trying to. Do you remember a group? I think back in the 1910s, 1920s, somewhere thereabouts, called the Oxford Group.
Maybe.
It's kind of a religious organization, but they were built upon Young. And he was saying to the fact that, in fact, there's this a story in the book about an alcoholic that traveled over to be treated by Young. And Young said it's been his experience that the only way he's ever seen an alcoholic recover is by that individual succumbing to a vital spiritual experience in order to overcome the disease. He equated it. He equated it to the back when they're
Ken,
Yeah.
what's your Instagram? Is your Instagram with the Yankees flag?
Yes.
Go throw it in the private chat.
Yes.
Wikipedia has
I
an article
texted
on
it. Did you get it? Did you get my message on
I don't
Instagram?
know.
Yeah, y'all do it in private so we can.
I don't
keep our
know. I don't
conversation.
know because I can't check my phone till tomorrow.
Huh?
I can't check it till tomorrow.
Okay, I'm
Why?
gonna have to separate the panels if we can't.
No.
Because my thing is
Sorry,
charging.
no. I want to be in here.
Okay, but we have to be able to have this because this channel's set up for certain types of conversations more than others, and when those happen,
Sorry, I want to be in here.
Well, if I have to kick you off, I'm gonna kick you off, and that same goes for Ken or anybody else being disrupted.
Noelle, it's okay.
And begging's not gonna make you stay on any longer.
I understand, Noelle. It's okay. Take a deep breath.
Well, Daniel, we were talking about archetypes earlier, like mainly archetypes we notice on the Panelverse, like scapegoat, Madonna and child, white knight, etc. And it kind of spun off from there into myth and archetype in general. And then Chuck said it showed up in Alcoholics Anonymous in kind of these secularized spiritual experiences that happened since the fall of religion, or like Nietzsche, the death of God. And
he talked about
that need for myth and meaning still plays on, even though what died was the Christian mythos or mythology, but not our need for meaning. And so we entered a new age where like something had to take its place. So we needed some new form of meaning as humans. And I think we're still kind of at that place. There's a good Nietzsche documentary I showed the other day, which I'd be happy to repeat for anyone who's interested. Talks about all that stuff.
Is it on YouTube?
Making sound. Yeah, actually, it was on. No, actually, it was on. I don't know, one of the other sites that it had a bunch of ads. So I'm actually trying to find a copy without the ads. But
cool.
What are you trying to find?
It's a documentary on Friedrich Nietzsche that the BBC did.
Isn't that free on a book? What's those notebooks? They're not notebooks, but they're Chromebook. No, not a Chromebook. What's those things? They're digital.
Kindle?
Yes, Kindle. Aren't they? Can you find that on a Kindle app?
The video?
Yeah, because you can do that.
Oh, I'll find it. I'm not worried about it. I'll get a copy somewhere. Okay.
Yo,
Chuck.
Good.
Chuck.
Yes, Noelle.
Wait. You were saying I cannot say 4 sentences in the other chat.
I was talking about it earlier. Yeah, when you was on other panels.
Yeah, and thank you for that.
Yep, I get this. Same here. I start out nice. Where it goes or ends up is up to
you. Can you put?
Neurodivergence goes in many directions. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Hey,
I
Jeff,
don't
know. You've heard of the Manosphere, the YouTube like Manosphere or whatever out there.
Be quiet.
Those, even that is like an archetype. When you talk about like a blue pill man or a red pill man, those that's kind of setting up archetypes and whatnot. So I think that's something that's always going to be in the culture.
It is.
So long as there's some sort of social hierarchy, it's just that's just part of it.
Yeah, I think it's just like making them more transparent. And the manosphere thing, it surprises me how much that white knight, damsel in distress, drama triangle, scapegoat ritual plays out in the red sphere. I mean the manosphere red pill spaces, where you would think that would be the space that they would take the side of the men against a woman. But I've seen it happen 2 or 3 times now, where a woman will be there and that instinct will get triggered to defend her against another man.
Hey,
And
Chuck
to
said.
interpret that man as a threat or aggressive or something because the
Okay.
woman's having a reaction, even though it's not a rational reaction. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Chuck said he'll be right back, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, it is interesting. Someone else was talking about, they had a whole show on that.
No, I just want to stay with Frank. Yeah.
But basically, that's what's called the white knighting, and you know the red pill manosphere is supposedly against that. But I mean,
they're the ones doing it.
Everyone's doing it. The thing is, I don't care if it's a male or a female. Like if someone is being done inappropriately, you know, standing up for that person isn't wrong, in my opinion.
Well, a lot of that's judgment and subjective, but this happens so fast that it looks like it's an instinct that gets triggered, that people just act on and play out without even thinking. So it doesn't even look like there's a lot of decision to it of, oh, this person's being treated wrong. Because I'll step in too when there's like an obvious injustice and I'm conscious and aware and I can think and make a decision to step in. But this seems like something more instinctive because it happens so fast. Yeah, it starts before you know it, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of it, and it happened at lightning speed. And like, I don't think any person sees it coming.
I think there's something to that, actually. Yeah, it might be hardwired in the lizard brain, for some, you know,
protect the women, and the women know how to work that.
Oh yeah.
So it's like this little codependent dynamic that forms, but it keeps a certain type of woman available for a certain type of man, and vice versa. And they know to look, like those type of women know to look for the white knights, and the white knights know, like they're already sensitized to that kind of woman.
Hey Jeff, do you mind if I say something real quick? I'm gonna head out in like maybe 5 minutes because I got work tomorrow morning and I'm exhausted.
Okay.
So I just wanted to pop in and say what I had to say, and I wanted to, before I go, I want to say, make sure everyone sub up and like the only and handsome Gen X Jeff. He's the best YouTuber out there, and he's also looking for his partner in crime. So any guys, make sure.
Oh, Lindsay.
Hey, I was hoping to talk with Ken a little bit.
I was too. Lindsay, next time you come on, I'm not bringing on the Spurgs. We're going to have our conversation. And if you want to make dinner and come back on and eat it here, or come back after you eat, if we're still going, I would love that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Night, Ken. Bye.
I'm not leaving yet. I'm not leaving yet.
Good. Can I ask you some questions, Ken?
Go on live, Ken, if you are leaving.
Do you want me to go live?
So you said that you're a Christian,
leaving.
Right?
Okay, why?
And Jeff, after Ken's show, can I come back here, please?
After what? When I'm doing an open panel, yes, and it's just hanging out and chatting, yes. But when we're doing conversations, I'm going to only have the people on that are involved in those conversations.
You're good now, right?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well now. Okay, she'll come back, she said.
Okay,
Ken. Yes.
You're a Christian, right?
Yes.
You said you're a born again Christian, like, you know, actually Holy Spirit filled born again Christian, or just like cultural Christian?
I haven't gotten filled with the Holy Spirit yet. I'll be honest.
You have not. Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, hey.
I know I've been baptized, but I haven't fully had the Holy Spirit fill me yet, to be honest.
Have you been following his storylines?
Well, I mean,
but I'm gonna go live real quick for like 5 minutes.
Go on live.
I'll go live.
Okay.
Bye.
Noelle, you want to go join him on his channel?
Should I join him or?
Yeah, it'd be nice for him to have a guest.
So, Jeff, can you let me in after we are done with Ken's channel? Can you?
Yeah, I'll see. It depends on what the conversation's doing, but if it's open chat, certainly.
What's his link?
Oh, let me put it in the. Do you see it in the private chat? It should still be in there.
Can you send me again?
Okay, there you go. Well, Daniel, where do all these religion police come from? Even people that I wouldn't think would be one end up. Spirituality is personal. Like everybody can define and describe their own spirituality.
It's funny this Daniel.
Did you freeze?
I
It looks like you
accidentally
froze.
mistaken
Noah.
him. I
Do
mistaken
what?
him for someone else. I think it was actually in here in chat, and I actually apologized to him for that, and he still is on my case. So it's like, well, who's the real Christian around here?
Well, and be alert for the troll factor too. He sometimes gets mistaken for Frank.
Oh, Daniel does?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so no, because I accused him of something. I can't remember, but I was just purged from EBT's chat or something, but he wasn't there, but I thought he was. And so I recognized that and I apologized. And then he was like, he still treats me like I'm, just a low life, I guess. So
Those people are so touchy. What
I
did you
know.
say?
Um, I was just trolling some people on EBTs, and then I came over here and I thought he was over at EBTs too, but he wasn't. And so I can't even remember what I said, but it related to EBTs, and I was wrong because it wasn't him.
Oh.
So I think it was like the next day or the next chat, the next time you were live or whatever, I was like, yeah, you were right. I was wrong, sorry. And then he still is like, labeling me, name calling me, telling me what I think about what I think.
He doesn't think you act Christ-like, whatever that means.
All right. Well, I don't know if he's Christian, but my favorite thing is when non-Christians tell Christians how to act Christian. That's probably about my favorite thing.
I feel the same way about women critiquing men. If you're not a man, your opinion of men doesn't matter. And if you're not a Christian, it's like the out group having some kind of superior knowledge of the in group that they themselves don't have.
All Christianity is to me is following Jesus Christ and believing in him as you would believe in God. Everything from there is, whatever that sect or whatever you want to call it is or whatever. But knowing Christ is intimate, personal, spiritual reality for everyone who's a born again Christian.
How do you know?
Popcorn Christian. How do I what?
How do you know? Is it like an inner experience, an inner knowing?
Well, it's a bona fide experience, which is to say, like when you take, say, a batch of mushrooms or something, and you have that trip or whatever. That's a real experience. In the back of your mind, though, that it was caused by the drugs. Whereas, when you get born again by the Holy Spirit, it's a bona fide experience like that, but that is coming from God.
Do you think there's some kind of chemical basis for it to be that powerful on the brain?
I don't think so because the love of God is like nothing else, and it's undeniable. So, like, I've taken drugs, I've done LSD, I've done mushrooms.
Love is a drug.
What's
like
that?
Oxytocin, love, like that feeling of love and infatuation is chemical too.
Sure, but the love that you feel from God when the Holy Spirit indwells you is something that is undeniable and it's undescribable because it's greater than any experience that any drug can give you.
Oh, he said you weaponizing it. Um, it is it something you can just get whenever you want? Like, oh, I need some love right now. Let me open myself up to the Holy Spirit. Or do you have to do certain things to get to that state or experience it?
I think you need to, yeah. I think you need to put faith in Jesus and pray and just ask him to receive his forgiveness and to receive the Holy Spirit. And if you just keep asking him, eventually he will show up. Because that's written in the Bible that he won't leave us. Uh, he won't leave us comfortless. That he will come unto us, and that's what I interpret that to mean. But as far as what Daniel's saying there, like how does he know what Jesus would want, by the way, unless he was a born again Christian? And, the Bible says so. Like,
Yeah.
what am I? Yeah, I might weaponize Christianity, quote unquote, to troll someone to believing in Christ, but it's nothing more than that. Like,
Troll
you know,
conversion, but through trolling.
that's right.
Have you been successful?
Um, I like to think that I am, but nothing has been more successful for me in terms of ministry than the jail ministry, because that's where people are kind of at their low point and their hearts are
Oh yeah.
receptive. Their hearts are receptive to actually receive something other than what they believe is true.
You've done jail ministry?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, like if you needed, like let's say tonight or tomorrow, you needed that feeling of the Holy Spirit for whatever reason, are you able to get it?
Like for
You
me,
would
or
just pray and like ask it to come on.
that's an interesting question. I think once you're baptized in the Holy Spirit, He's always with you. Like it's part of you, but um, it can feel like He's far away at times. But if you need to, like, I guess, kind of quote unquote summon Him, you could do that. But there's no real formula for it. It would probably take prayer. It would probably take reading the Word, and it would be trying to get closer. The closer you get to Jesus, the more you feel the Spirit. If that makes sense.
So he's kind of the path to that feeling.
I think so. I think so. Like, I like to say that Jesus is the God that you can wrap your arms around. He's the God that you can play catch with. He's the God you can run on the beach with.
He sounds like a daddy. Like I'd never pictured like Daddy Jesus, but I also have the white curly haired image of Jesus in my head too, which was not the
Yeah.
historical Jesus.
Well, I think it was John 13 or 14 where he says, "You're my friends now." Basically, I'm your Lord. Yes, I'm your Lord, but basically, I'm your friend too. So, like, once you know Him on that level, um, it can be that kind of relationship. Like, if you need a friend to help you or whatever, and you don't have anyone, well, you can count on Jesus to, He's not going to abandon you. Generally speaking, because He says so in the Word, and you have
Well,
to believe the Bible.
the Pentecostals, I went to their meetings. It looks like it does. They even try to catch it in the bag, in a paper bag. Does your church do things to like where people get the Spirit?
Um,
I had to
I've
yeah.
been. I wasn't raised in church or anything. I didn't find Jesus until I was like 36. So like
Oh,
church is
well,
not
I
a
mean, like a
real like
current church. Do you have a current church?
no, because I don't really fit in with the church culture at all. Like
Oh,
there's a whole like culture, that and I wasn't raised in it and I don't know it. And so even there I'm like still an outsider. So like I don't I reverence the church or whatever, but it's not for me because I generally feel like I get rejected even there. So
I
after a
definitely
certain
relate.
point, it's like how much rejection do I want to put myself through just to try and find a place where I belong, where I already know Jesus Christ.
Have you found other people in the panelverse that are more simpatico with you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of us actually. A lot of people are kind of disenfranchised with the church at this time because, to me, the church is stuck in the 1800s tent revival, roaming carnival type of
That sounds fun.
entertainment, kind of, church service. They're there for the social entertainment and the social kind of belonging, I guess you could say, as opposed
the
you're having a
community.
social emotional experience instead of a spiritual experience.
How does a person know the difference? Because that's kind of that Dionysian communal ecstasy, like that energy that's larger than just the group. You feel it at a rave, a rock concert, Mardi Gras, a protest, I suppose.
Yeah.
What separates the spiritual from that?
I think basically, first of all, having it grounded in the Word of God, the truth of God in the Bible and stuff, and having, like entering in the temple like with song and praise. That's probably step one. But sometimes that goes too far, and the people are just having like this social emotional kind of I belong to I belong to experience, as opposed to actually finding Jesus Christ and receiving the Holy Spirit.
Which is more of a solitary personal thing than a collective.
Which is definitely an individual thing. But it could be collective too. Like, he could do anything, like, fall on a collective church. But um, I guess it's hard to, if you're in a Pentecostal church, it's hard to know when it's just a kind of social, emotional experience and when the Spirit is moving, unless you have the Spirit, because it could look like just a bunch of running around, or a bunch of like, cheerleading, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to know exactly when it's real or not, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But even if it is real, that doesn't mean like you're going to have miracle healings that weekend, or you're going to have all your bills paid for miraculously that day, or something like that. It could just be a simple answer on why hasn't let's just say, why hasn't my good friend called? I left him 3 messages, and maybe the word comes to you and the Spirit says, your friend is under stress, and be patient, and it might be something simple like that you kind of feel, or intuitively feel, or whatever we call that, receiving the Spirit, and that's all you needed at the time.
Well, I've brought up this book before, but what you described, this Harold Bloom, American Religion, that kind of personal solitary experience of Jesus, he says is not part of European or traditional mainline Christianity. That's a uniquely American development, and that it's closer to Gnosticism than it is to any kind of historical Christianity. And it's so normalized in America that we take it for granted, but historically it's really a unique indigenous spirituality to America.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like I say, I equate it to like this 1800 wagon wheel tent revival roaming carnival church service. We're still kind of stuck in that mode, even though you have
like, was it the Great Awakening or Cane Ridge back in the day, like in Kentucky?
Yeah. Like a great tent revival, whatever they always have these from time to time, but it's more like like the carnival that comes into town every year at springtime or whatever. It's
because
an
it gets
event.
people where it taps into that passion, that body, that emotion. It like gets you out of your head, and it embodies it on a level where it can communicate viscerally.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, to me, that's not a bad technique for communicating spirituality. But that's an interesting point you bring up about how do you separate it from the stuff that happens socially when humans get together.
Right. Yeah, that is tough. But what I'm finding also too is that the whole 1800s revival tent church service is that it's playing itself out in a bad way, because if you're only getting the social emotional experience, what happens to a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of atheists now, they were Christian raised and now they're atheists, is that, once that emotion, social emotion, like gets violated somehow or they lose it, they lose all belief whatsoever and they leave the church. And sometimes it's hard to bring them back in it whatsoever because they know the Bible, they know all the lingo, they know the churchanese, they know the Christianese, but they don't know Jesus Christ. So they put their faith in the church and the church members, they get disappointed or hurt somehow, and never, like they just will not even entertain it anymore. So that's kind of the backlash that I see. And it's a shame too, because like they come from great families, like good Christian church-going families. Maybe the dad was not a Christian, became born again. Now his family is Christian, but then the kids fall away again. So it's like I even asked the Lord, like, why is this is such a tragedy? Why is this happening? And I think it's the church's fault because they're only providing a social, emotional experience.
Well, in fairness, he has been talking about Jesus and not God. And I know there's the whole Trinity thing, but the Jesus he was talking about and the Holy Spirit didn't necessarily sound sadistic to me. But yes, the Yahweh of the Old Testament certainly sounds like he has some, like he would fit in some of the more extreme ends of this panel verse with all of his personality issues.
Yeah, maybe even like Tommy almost.
Oh, yeah. Of course, that's come from a Satanist, so take it for what it is.
Yeah. But no, I never said he wasn't schizophrenic sometimes, like in the Old Testament, he could
That
be
word
human.
has come up before in relation to him. I've heard it used.
He could be mad one chapter and forgiving the next, so it it may appear like one way, but you have to take the whole picture. And a lot of the things that happened was because
The
of the acts that
sadism and the
people were
love. The
doing,
love and
and
the
you have to
sadism.
punish that or had to judge that. I'm sorry, what?
I said the love and the sadism. You have to take it all. You have to reconcile the brutality with the spiritual heights. That it sounds actually quite based and satanic.
Maybe, but what I say is love is the only thing that could allow everything else.
I
Nothing
don't know
else
what that
could do
means.
that.
I don't know what
What
that
it means,
means.
like anything that's built on anything other than love couldn't allow for everything else because it's going to challenge you, but only love could overcome that challenge.
But we all like challenge each other to keep our to keep our own being. Otherwise, we'd all melt into this one blob of an organism. Like we have to have some kind of tension and challenge between us to create some boundaries so we can tell one person from another psychologically. Or otherwise we'd have like this collective participation mystique where we're just all mind melding into this one consciousness. So I think challenge is necessary on some level to individuate and differentiate.
True.
Noelle's backstage. How are you with Noelle? Or we can continue. And Lindsay says
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Noelle is backstage.
Okay, yeah, I talked with her last night, so she's a nice girl. So hold on a second.
Are you okay with her coming on, or you want to continue
Yeah.
with our conversation?
No, that's
Okay.
fine. Alexa,
All right.
stop timer.
Hello.
Welcome back. How was this panel?
His panel was good, but but his mom said he had to go to bed. He's going to bed.
Did she say it on the panel like, "Kid, time to go to bed"?
Frank.
That other day with Ken, that afternoon with Ken and Mindful Exposures, man, that was some show, man.
Oh yeah.
What? Excuse me, Jeff. Jeff, who is Ken? Is Ken's like a transgender guy or no? I'm sorry.
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
he is. It's news to me. I think he's just a ordinary, warm-blooded American spurg.
Oh,
Is what he
I'm
seems like to me.
sorry.
I wonder if Ken, I was gonna talk to Ken and ask him if he's
Jeff,
considered
Jeff,
Jeremiah.
I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry.
What's up, Noelle?
I thought he was transgender. I'm sorry.
I think he's a real dude. You thought he was like female to male?
Yeah, wait,
Oh,
his talking. I
his
can
voice.
see it.
Yeah, he's gotten that
Yeah.
before. Yeah, people make assumptions about his voice.
Did he say he was adopted or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that true?
I think so. That's what he said,
I
right?
only have his word for all of this. He could be a psyop or a bit. The whole thing could be a bit.
Yeah, you never know. Let's see what.
This is the panel verse.
Geez,
Best
Daniel
not
went
to
off on
do
a
things
spurg. I didn't read any of this yet, but anyway.
Yeah, what about let's talk about the Jesus from Revelation. That's talking about different aspects and archetypes from earlier. That's quite a different aspect of white Jesus that I'm used to. And he was like that in Paradise Lost too. He like led the army.
Oh, this is
But
an interesting comment.
yeah.
Oh man,
It's interesting how so many of these deities and gods and have talk about archetypes in mythology, like take on parental characteristics. God is his father figure. Zeus was a father figure. He have mother goddesses, and like archetypes and mythology seem to be tied up with parental figures very often. Getting militant with militant. Yeah, militant was getting militant. With Jesus.
Yeah, I think leadership is something that whether a person knows it or not, everyone needs leadership, in my opinion.
Needs.
Yes.
What? Talk to me about that.
Like if you're just wandering randomly and blindly through like life and through anything, like your employment or your marriage or whatever,
How?
you
That
can
hurt.
run
I feel.
astray.
Yes, the Lost Boys. Definitely. Wow, this really touches something because my initial instinct was to say, I don't need leadership. I'll decide if I need it. I can just like determine for myself if I need it or want it or who. But then I'm thinking about it, and I didn't grow up. Like I needed some of it growing up, and I didn't get it, and I've like suffered my whole life for it. It's affected my whole life. So there is a type of leadership I think that I needed at one time that if you don't get, you still need as an adult. But that was not my first instinct. It was to pretend like I don't need it. That like self-determination instinct kicked in.
Yeah,
Probably the Peter Pan Lost Boys, although I don't know, both.
I think
I had
as an
Peter Pan in
adult,
mind when I said it, but any Lost Boy, any archetype of the Lost Boy. Go ahead, Freak. Sorry.
as adults, I think we need less of it, but I think that it's useful, still useful in that it helps you stay focused on goals and kind of tunnel vision. What your goals are, so that you don't so that you don't have to hit every single rabbit hole along the path.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's part of what I do. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to take. I don't know why there's resistance to leadership. It's hard to like humble yourself or have the trust enough in another person to like hand over your guy. It's like when you're I used to rock climb. Like when somebody repels you up the wall, you have to trust them with the rope, and they're not going to drop you off the wall and stuff. There's a trust element to turning yourself over to somebody's guidance. And it's just hard. Yes, you're probably right that a lot of people could benefit from it, let's say. And I do think that it's up to them. Like they should be the ones to decide, I want this leadership, instead of having it imposed on them, even if they do need it or appear to need it. But it's still, there's like a psychological resistance to overcome in some people, maybe a lot of people, certainly in me.
Yes, I agree with that. We could take like Paul and Jack Talcott for examples. Paul is going to kind of micromanage a little bit more than say a Jack would, but some people need that, whereas other people don't want that authoritarian type of looking over your shoulder all day, doing your work or whatever.
No.
And Jack kind of, you know what I mean. So there's different
And
styles.
you're saying Jack needs that, or Jack provides that?
Oh well, Jack is thinks of himself as a leader. Paul probably does too, and it's just like different styles. Like Paul would be a good like drill sergeant, and Jack would be a good like philosopher.
I'm as somebody in the market for a daddy myself, probably for that reason you state, the guidance that comes from it, which that's very common in the gay world with little gay boys who didn't grow up with dads. But they both would make decent daddies. I can't believe I'm saying this about Paul and Slave, but I think you're right in different ways. They're both capable of playing that kind of father leadership guide role for certain people.
Certainly, and I think it's
God
just a matter of
knows there's a
style.
need for it. So the more people that can do that, the better. I like if they're both able to do it, then why not encourage it?
Yeah. It's a style thing. Like, what's your cup of tea? One's going to be more hands on. One's going to expect, one's going to delegate more and expect you to pick up the reins.
And their motives too. Like, how
So-
much is their own need for control versus actually caring about you and your path that they're guiding you on, etc.
Oh, that's a good question. In other words, do your leaders need leadership?
Yeah.
They probably do, but that how much is their intent for you is good versus them having control in the flesh. That's a good question. I don't know if I can answer that.
And this is important. I do know, like when I do turn myself over to leaders, I have the ability to snatch that power back like that if I need it. So if you do submit to leadership, make sure you have the ability to get your autonomy and self-determination back as soon as you need it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also you have to, part of leadership is being able to receive correction. And, that's a problem for a lot of adults.
My whole, like all my nerves just had to fought back against that one. Correction.
Yeah, like if you're in the wrong, but if you're following someone and they point out something that you're doing wrong, you have to.
But how are they
sometimes
the
follow your
authority
pride and accept that criticism?
How are they the authority on my morality?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be morality. It could be a matter of you're not tying your shoes right, or you're not.
Okay, how are they the authority on how I have to tie my shoes?
Just that they are in a position to basically try to help you be more efficient, I would say.
Is it
I
like
guess.
like when somebody has a booger hanging out their nose or toilet paper, like you tell them?
Yeah, it could be even that,
like
like
that social grooming.
You could almost say in this day and age, someone that has the the stones to tell you that you have something resting on your face that shouldn't be there, as opposed to just ignoring it because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Cut your hair, shave that nasty beard.
Yeah.
Get you a collared shirt, etc. Yeah, I get that kind of stuff.
But when
doing that kind of stuff, I mean,
to me, when you call yourself a Satanist, it's so odd to me because like you are like one of the least evil persons that I probably know out here.
Satan doesn't do it. everything we're talking about fits into Satan. Even the Bible I discovered tonight is satanic.
It's probably just my archetype that I have in my mind. Like, I equate like Satanism with like doing evil, like, like Helter
Yeah.
Skelter or Charlie Manson or something, and you're not
Yeah.
anything like that.
I know we're trying to, I think part of what modern Satanism is trying to do is kind of recapture and repurpose that archetype. But do we also have theistic Satanists that are keeping the supernatural version going? So, I think it's a good exercise in judging each person as an individual. So each Satanist you meet is going to be their own version of it, and they may be different than other versions. And so kind of learning to see past the label to the person.
Interesting.
And I would say the same with Christian or any religion.
Yeah. Wasn't there like a famous like Satanist who was kind of like a mass murderer or something? And
Oh,
I want to say
probably.
like Charlie Manson or something, but I don't know if he was Satanist
He was
or
crazy, so who knows? I
yeah,
think
he
he
was.
used satanic iconography and imagery and symbolism and stuff. But I don't really know my serial killers. I'm kind of proud to say. Was Son of Sam Satan? I know he had something to do with like the dog.
Maybe,
The dog would tell him to kill people or something.
maybe. I'm not sure either, but
And I know that was it Richard Ramirez or those murders in Brownsville, Texas, like in the 90s. Yeah, that was centered around. It was Satanism and it was some specific brujeria or santeria or something. Some kind of folk Satanism or folk demonology.
yeah, we see like the archetypes being presented in a lot of like media or whatever. Like these quote unquote Satanist people are like the bloodthirsty cat burglar, cat killers that drink blood
That's
and
been around since the 80s. In fact, I watched a really good documentary on Anton LaVey the other day. It's called The American Satan, and they talked about all of that, like the stereotypes that people have of Satan and Satanism and how they got into the media and how they keep getting debunked and keep showing back up in the media because it's an archetype. It's that satanic figure is going to show up in cultures over and over and over because it's such a he plays such a valuable role, that scapegoat villain figure.
yeah,
You almost need that in any story or any culture.
interesting stuff. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't even like to think about that. I came really too close with I like to put even as a kid, I was always putting myself in the brains of other people to try to see how they like why did that person think that way or feel that way or just say that. And I tried to get a picture of their head. And serial killers were like my line. Like even if I'm able to, there's something in me that stops myself from trying to figure out what it's like being in the head. I just don't care to go there. And the ex I was with, I got right up to that edge and I wasn't prepared for it. And that's as close I got to that like mindset. And it was like the scariest thing I've seen in my life from humans. So people that work with those people in prisons and like corporate, like high level corporate environments and stuff, you have to have a strong stomach for like the human animal.
I think the desire to actually hurt people, and like Christians will say like they're not afraid to die, but they don't want to kill, but they aren't afraid to die. I think the desire to actually want to kill is something that kind of forges over time in a person's experience. I don't think it's necessarily something that a person is born with.
Oh, I think we're have you watched Animals or Kids? Like I absolutely we were born with the urge to kill, to fuck or kill. Like our little like primal brain, animal brain, when we see another animal, we're like fuck or kill. Do I kill this thing or do I screw it? or make a connection or bond? Does the social instinct kick in, or does the aggression defense instinct kick in? So we're like, our little brain in the back of our is constantly making those decisions about people.
Yeah.
But I think it's nature. I think it comes from, like, monkeys do it, mammals, animals. We're creatures. We're animals. And I think things like Christianity and those kind of higher advanced mythologies help to civilize that. On that personality map, that was that second factor that kind of socializes those primal instincts. And I think Christianity has a powerful, like, civilizing influence and civilizing potential on some of those impulses.
Yeah, that's probably true. But going back to what you said, as you know, as a child, you were kind of like you went up to the line, but you didn't cross it in terms of, like, the heinousness of the blood of I think that
Like,
most people, if they were to do that, they would they would see the gore and it would affect them in some way. But then again, when you join the Marines, let's say, they are stripping you of that instinct to basically be compassionate, and they're trying to make you into a killer, and there's a certain way that they do that.
I have some friends who are Marines. I've heard that before, which, like, they say similar things. Which I guess, like, if that's what they need for that social role, then that's what they got to do. I just know I would not make a good Marine if that's what you have to go through. I've gotten enough of that through life, through having to live and facing all that kind of shit on my own. I don't need any more of it than life decides to throw at me. But Marines are there to be a specific type of warrior too. So,
right. And it's a matter of life and death for them. Like, if they don't have that killer instinct, then they hesitate or whatever, that could cost them their
I
life.
want our military to have. If we're in a war, I want our soldiers to have that.
Yes, definitely. But it's something that has to be they have to be stripped of their normal mindset, I guess you could say, and it has to be kind of instilled into them, in order for to be able to pull the trigger and move on to the next target and not even think about it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's like another type of that condition, that second factor. It's just a different type than most people are socialized into, and it's not that primary type. It's a secondary type that has to kind of break down that initial socialization that we get as children and, like, rebuild it into something else. That's an excellent example.
Totally agree. We're definitely talking about archetypes, though.
Yeah, and the feral people. Yes, we're all feral. We all have troll. We all have demon. We all have feral. We all have narcissism under the surface because babies are narcissistic, and we still have that in us developmentally. So we need some larger something that transcends that enough for us to come together to keep a society going. It doesn't have to be higher than that, but we at least need that level of civilization. So whatever helps with that, whatever conditioning, whatever stories, mythologies, art, media, tools, technology, all of that, culture, civilization. I see that as an improvement and an advancement over the feral primitive state. So I want to keep that going. And it looks like it's something you have to do each generation, because the little baby humans come in with all the monkey programming, and you have to take each new generation and civilize them.
Yeah. You could lose your whole culture in 1 or 2 generations. Pretty easily,
I've seen it happen.
Technology, technology is accelerating that.
Some of it's probably inevitable. I mean, there's going to be a trend towards centralization, globalization, technocratization, but then there's also going to be this decentralizing impulse in the opposite direction, where we'll see these little subcultures and subcommunities form amidst all of that. Especially in a place like America, I think it's just a prime for that.
Yeah. One of the things that it could in terms of like globalization, it's almost like a basketball team nowadays. You know, everyone kind of has their role, and if you play your role, like if you're the big man and you're in the paint and you post up versus, you know, a 3-pointer guard that, you know, could dribble the ball, as long as you know your role and everyone is benefiting, I think it can work. But right now, it's like a bunch of growing pains and a lot of tug of war going on, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
I think that's where we've always been at, or always going to be at, as a species. And because to coordinate everybody in the same role for even within one generation is difficult enough, and the more people you add, the more of a challenge. And then to keep that coordination going across time with succeeding generations is, I mean, that's
Yeah,
been a since I think we've had the civilization we have.
I think that's why
Western
leadership.
civilization is always morphing and encountering new things and incorporating new things and generating new things from within it that it has to reincorporate.
Yeah, leadership is so important in that regard. Like if we could take Donald Trump and Joe Biden, even if Donald Trump is just saying, you know, we're gonna get a fair playing field for the workers of America, you know, that's even something as basic as that. Just, you know, trying to lead in that direction. It's better than anything of the neglect that we get from Joe Biden.
Both I don't know how old you are, but when I was growing up, the Democrats were the party of the working class. We actually had a political party that kind of fought for us, kind of cared about us, and that all shifted to this woke elitism. And the working class, not only did they get abandoned by the Democrats, they become demonized.
Yeah,
And like they were the deplorables, they're the white men. And the Republicans were always kind of the big business side, so they didn't really step in to like fill in support for the working class either. So I agree, the working class is out in the wilderness.
yeah, I would say so. Say so, and it's weird because like the boomers, they were the hippie rebels of the late
Yeah,
'60s, and now they're the
establish.
authoritarian corporate fascists that they, you know, were rebelling against just, you
Yeah,
know, 50 years ago. It's really strange.
just wait till Gen X gets in charge. Y'all gonna love it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I don't know if Lindsay's coming back or not. I would love to hear more about the architect. Lindsay, if you're out there, give me a signal.
Even when we say Gen X and Boomer and Gen Z and Zoomers and, you know, Millennium, those are archetypes. You know.
The, the generations are like the invisible identity that you don't even realize you have until other generations come along and you start being able to see the contrast. And so much of me is Gen X, and the Satanism was born during Gen S, rock music, everything I'm into today that defines me as a person, except for the literature, philosophy. But all of that is Gen X, but it feels so normal. I don't think of it as a generational thing or a historical thing. It seems like something that's just always been and always will be. And now that I'm seeing it like fade and turn into this new digital cyber world, I'm seeing how specific of a thing what I took as normal actually was. And the same will be true for these new generations.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
The low income became, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at with the work. Now the Dems do seem to be a little bit better with the safety net, but I don't know how. I'd rather see support for a robust working class that people could assimilate into from the bottom, from poverty, and still have a safety net for the ones that need it, than have a large safety net with a broken working class with more and more of them needing to be on the safety net, which is what it seems
Yeah.
like we have now.
I think the Obama Biden model is basically there's going to be an elite ruling political class, and there's going to be the proletariat, and, you know, the rest of us. And,
That's
you
kind of
know,
how I see it trending now with archetypes like the maternalism, the nanny state, the
Nanny state,
we
yeah.
know best, trust us, we'll take care of you and keep you safe and protected and feed you what you need to know when you need to know it. But it's not very self-determining.
And it's corrupt and it's unjust. They seem to be able to do whatever they want, to
Well,
whoever they
could people
want.
let them? Because there's people that want nannying. That's what I'm saying. It's an archetype. It's that like mother and child thing. So it takes two to keep that going, just like in a codependent or abusive relationship. And so it's not really top down. It's kind of emergent and then feeds back onto the culture it emerged from.
Interesting. But you know what that kind of shows is that even the elite still have a scarcity mindset because they're trying to hoard everything for themselves still, and basically create this proletariat class that you have to be a super special, super attractive, super charismatic, super sales, kind of a person to break through into the elite class. Whereas the middle class of America of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, 90s, you actually had a chance as a regular person if you came up with a good idea and worked hard for it.
You don't think you do now as much with a good idea?
I think it's getting more and more bleak. You really have to have some sort of regulation, bureaucracy, bureaucrat on your side. You have to. There's got to be a payoff now somewhere. It seems like.
To me, it seems even easier now. Like I've been able to do with YouTube what I've been trying to do for the last 8 or 9 years with the bureaucracy and the systems and everything, and was getting nowhere. And I hopped on YouTube by myself with just me, and I executed more of my idea than I ever have trying to do it the old way.
Yeah.
People are making movies now from their phones. They're making entire albums, like studio quality albums from their phones. There's just so much the individual can do now that like they're empowered by technology to do that they couldn't do before. So to me, it's even easier to take an idea and get it out there and then help it grow or see what happens or find like-minded people with the same idea, etc.
Yeah, that's very powerful stuff. I come from a little bit of like a commercial real estate leasing background, so a lot of times when I think about the market and stuff, I kind of come at it from that angle. So like I'm thinking like having to get permits, developing property, understanding the environmental factors of development and stuff like that, and so I see it getting more difficult in terms of getting like on the ground kind of ventures going. Not necessarily the cyber stuff, but you almost have to have a payoff list before you can get anything done now. And their lawyers.
Oh yeah, the bureaucratic that bureaucracy. It's the technocracy, is what
Yeah.
it is. It's hit everything. It's hit healthcare. It's hit. I'm looking for a job right now, and every day I look at the job boards. I pick a few jobs that look like they might. I'm looking for really simple, easy jobs, nothing complicated. And I start the application process, and oh my God, the hoops you have to jump. And I just shut it down. I'm like, I don't even want to get a job anymore because just the process of trying to get a job is so fucking bureaucratic now.
The hoops, like more than just an interview, like
I don't
or
even
even
get to the I don't even get through the application process because it's like fill
wow.
out this form and make sure you have this license and apply for this training and sign up for this thing. It's not just like when I was growing up, you went into a place, you asked for an application, it was paper, they gave you an ink pen, you filled it out, you turned it in, and a few days later they would either call you or not call you. That was job searching in my generation. And now, supposedly to simplify it, they've made it more complex, even for my brain. The energy that goes into figuring out how to navigate this bureaucracy completely saps my motivation by the time I get even
Yeah.
partway into it.
Yeah, I know what
And
you
so
mean.
that it's like actually a barrier now where it's keeping me from figuring out how to get a damn job, where normally I should just be able to walk out and get something. Like something really easy and basic and entry level should not require this bureaucratic apparatus.
Yeah, sounds like an anxiety farm. But yeah, you turn
Or
in
a
an application
frustration
and then
farm.
you would go in for an interview, maybe a second interview. But I haven't been on the job market in a while, but sounds like, yeah, you probably have to give up a firstborn or something almost nowadays, I guess.
I'm better at job fairs or like networking events where I can just talk in person and cut through all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I think they still have those from time to
I
time.
think
But
they even have like online job fairs now where you just go on Zoom and talk to people.
you think you would ever teach again?
I'm gonna try to do that peer support thing. I don't think I would classroom teach. I definitely wouldn't teach in the public education system. And some of the jobs I looked at were like teacher's aide or special ed classrooms, and even those have so much damn licensing requirements and bureaucratic hoops. It's not worth it for a few hours a day to go sit in a classroom with a special ed kid and help them learn. It's just not worth
That's
that.
terrible.
It's not worth that kind of investment to me.
Oh
And
man,
so I don't think I would do the public school system again, but I would maybe do some kind of online thing. Like during COVID, I had a friend that was creating an online university, and he was looking for people to present different courses and materials. I would do something like that.
interesting.
I think teaching's changing anyway. I think the way education's being delivered is going to change anyway. So I would do maybe the new version of it, but not the technocratic version.
Hey, this whole personality archetype, that thing that like Flo is into and a lot of other people are into, the introvert, extrovert, that whole thing.
Oh yeah, like the Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram and
Yeah. Does that apply
sociology.
to children, like to kids, or is it just adults? Or
They're just constructs, really, or models, or they're conceptual tools. So you apply them to whatever they fit.
you think you could develop a individual's education in a specialized way based on that model?
I I thought my whole life that's how education was being delivered. Because that's how I deliver it when I was in the classroom. So I already thought the teachers were individualizing it to us, and and so I think that's how education should be designed from the start, and I thought it already was. And so yes, but then I realized it takes a specific skill set to do that, and it's not one that most people have. So the amount of teachers you need versus the amount that can actually individualize, like ideally would be required, there's too much of a disproportion. So you kind of have to build the system with the staff you have to staff it. And that's where I think a lot of our public education systems are stuck.
Yeah, I think
Even if we have new
education.
models, the amount of people that have the skill set to implement those models are not going to be in the numbers that you need.
Yeah, probably not. I think that
Yeah,
the whole.
Daniel, I don't know if you've watched people implement, first of all, formulate, and they do a decent job formulating because it's usually done with a team and there's some clinical expertise and sometimes some peer input. But then watching an individual teacher try to implement an IEP, that's where the need for individualization is most critical, and that's where they're least able to do it. Because part of it, the IEP is a technocratic tool. It's set up as a template that they can plug in and push buttons on and execute. And that is not how the teaching these kids works. So the IEP is a technocratic tool for something that's more of an art than a science.
What does a IEP mean?
It's an individualized educational plan, and they have another thing called 504 plans. There's different sets of federal laws. So there's two different types of plans that by law a kid that has special needs can have, and sometimes they have one or both. But a, part of the plan often will involve either access to a special ed classroom when they need it, where they can go in and get help, or actual like time set aside each day where they take certain classes being taught by a special education teacher. And they're the ones that are responsible for teaching the kid in the way that fits the plan that was developed. This very specific individualized plan. Wow. Daniel, what I would love to talk with you more. And I don't know if you know, well, are you on Discord or anything? I wish we could talk offline. I have a friend that's involved in a nonprofit to try to help improve the education system too. More along the lines of wokeness and social justice and ideology. And I forget the name of it. It has the word teach in it. But one thing we're trying to do, we're trying to like salvage what we can of the educational system. So there's a big network trying to do that. And I'm trying to help with the neurodivergent part of it. And the same with the mental health care system. Some people are doing it with the legal system, wherever their fields are. We're trying to conserve the parts of it that work from this sweeping social change that's happening right now.
Right. Especially in the labor market. I think of it like, back in the day, you had Sandy Koufax was the starting pitcher, the relief pitcher, and the closing pitcher. Now everything is so specialized that it would be great if there was a model that you could apply to, and not even special ed, but like to all kids to say, yeah, give him this model type of the introvert, extrovert, blah blah blah, and he's going to be an engineer or something. You're gonna be an actor. You're gonna be that kind of thing, and be able to tailor the education in that direction, because anyone can Google any of the facts or any of this minutia that we used to learn in history class, or so like a lot of that it's still relevant, but like you don't want to necessarily fill up your whole brain with that stuff.
No, but kids do need to learn how to be an intelligent consumer of information, and I don't think that's taught enough. If you're gonna offload the information part to the internet or the AI, at least teach the thinking skills required to sift through it all and figure out what information is good and useful.
Yes, because to try and hold and retain all of that is probably it's impossible.
We don't need to anymore. We all have Google brains.
Right. So being able to tailor a specialized, you're going to be the relief pitcher, you're going to be the starter, you're going to be the actor, you're going to be the engineer, you're going to be the nuclear fusion. But I don't know if that probably doesn't exist yet. It's just that I think that the education is not being delivered in an effective way and an efficient way, because we can't even build airplanes anymore that don't kill everybody when they try to land. That's how terrible it is right now.
Are you extrapolating from like one or two crashes, or is this a known trend?
Well, it's probably like one or two.
Where Boeing is, so
but it's an issue with it's an ongoing issue that they have, where basically the landing gear doesn't is some kind of
quality control. Like even if the manufacturers didn't know how to build, that quality control would catch it, or has that degraded too?
I mean, I think it's all degraded, but how you heard that story about Volkswagen developed some software to be able to trick the emissions tests in California or whatever they did.
Mm-mm.
It's like, I think that was a thing probably about a good 10 years ago now. But I don't even think they could hire the engineers in Germany to basically make this landing gear operate correctly on the Boeing airplanes, because there's some kind of software glitch with the hardware that is basically telling the software that the thing is open, is extended out, but it's really not. And it's kind of crazy. Like we invented airplanes in America, and we can't even make one that doesn't kill everybody now.
But we can't. We make plenty of airplanes that don't crash.
China's going to overtake that market here in the next, this year.
Well, that is a threat. Like, yes, our letting other countries overtake our manufacturing is a threat, and it's actually been happening. And so I don't know why we're not watching that more than we are.
Yeah. So, but it goes back to the education. Now we've got to get smarter about how we educate the kids so that they can compete in the labor market. Otherwise we're I mean, we're already done for, but
What's
we're
the
really going to
labor
be.
market these days, though? Is it like Uber driving and DoorDash and remote working?
Yeah, but it's certainly not the 9 to 5 cubicle, McDonald's counter. Fill your brain with a bunch of false history that's going to be changed anyway in 20 years. Type of learning. It's got to change, or
Well,
we're going to
I
be.
think like having a sense of history is important, though, even if it like specific facts are helpful in building up a historical perspective. And so I wouldn't
Oh
really
yeah,
want to dismiss with that either. But the big debate now is how do we teach history? Because it's narrative and there's so many competing narratives. Everybody wants their one narrative as the truth. So how do we even teach a common history anymore? And I think that's one of our issues as Americans is we don't have a common shared culture or story or narrative as much as we used to, if we ever did. But we desperately need one as a nation. And
yeah.
speaking of, I think Walt Whitman is an excellent, like that's what he tried to be in his time. I don't know what happened to that one, but that's certainly um, a pretty engaging and benign one to me. I noticed that when I moved up here to Seattle from Louisiana after living in Vegas, I thought I was moving to just another state in America so that the culture would not be that different. And as an American, I would more or less have enough in common here to live here. I feel like an immigrant in a foreign country because the culture here is so different than anywhere I've lived. And the stories and the narratives and the mythology, it doesn't match any of the other parts of America that I've lived for. So there's nothing American that holds me and the people here together that can overcome this like gigantic cultural divide between the two of us. And I think if we're going to stay together as a country, we need to find something that can do that.
What I find fascinating is a lot of these narratives and whatnot are change of revision history. To me, it's all basically an exercise in trying to, from the work or the non-work of your ancestors, building up some sort of sense of self-esteem within yourself. And to me, that's so silly. It's like it's laughable. Like let's just say everything was invented in Africa, and all this and this and that, and okay, fine, okay. How does that make you feel better right now, even though you're in whatever your condition is? How does that produce any kind of anything for you that is uh, tangible, other than maybe a little bit of a boost to your ego and self-esteem, if that. I just find it all unproductive.
That's something that I ponder constantly because I encounter it over and over in my work. I see it on the stream over and over. Why do some people choose victimhood over empowerment? I have no idea. If somebody tried to give you money or a genie bottle with 3 wishes or a magic wing, why would you say no? I don't want that. I want to stay in the situation I'm in because I get some kind of high off of being a victim from it. Like that's what it seems like I'm looking at. I have no idea why people would choose that over empowerment.
I'm not sure either. Some of them, I think, not all of them, but I think a lot of it is basically trying to establish sort of a moral high ground in order to win an argument, in order to basically steal. Especially if you're talking about like Congress, or you're talking about like legislators and government workers.
What about Congress and government workers?
Well, like a lot of these narratives are crafted in order to basically try to gain a moral high ground in any argument, and that way you could basically get your legislation passed, which allocates the dollars to your people instead of the other people.
Yeah, but that's That's what it's supposed. That's how the system's supposed to work, and
Oh well,
has
yeah,
worked.
but like
It's
creating
the
a whole
beginning
false
of it.
revision history, that
Oh,
you know,
like if they get enough people to believe their story, then
right,
they get the money. So we're
right,
competing for resources through stories now instead of through
yeah.
spears and bows and
It's a
arrows.
punch grab. It's basically a punch grab.
So we got to get better at getting a different story out there than these other groups.
I guess that's the game right now. I mean,
That's what PF Jung is working on. His whole channel is kind of pivoting to meme centrist, enlightened centrist meme warfare, and how to have the best memes to deploy against all these other groups. So that's a good centrist channel, Daniel, and I'm a mod there, so you don't have to worry about getting banned there. Although if you make a comment that crosses a line, I'll have to remove that one comment, of course. But that's a place I don't think you would get banned from. And you can. He loves people that disagree with him. In fact, he gets irritated when people call in and have nothing to disagree about. So you might find
cool.
an echoing voice there.
PF Chang's. So it's like that
Yeah,
Chinese
PF
restaurant. Yeah.
I think
But
we got abandoned by Lindsay. Or
yeah,
that was some really good food.
she probably went on another panel or something, but I'm sure she'll be back. I mean, she, you two get along fine, I think, right?
Oh, I've never had a problem. Lindsay she has curiosity. She's observant. She has self-awareness. I've never had an issue talking to Lindsay. I think we have good conversations. She's somebody that I can engage in very easily because she brings the perfect qualities for these kind of conversations.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I like Lindsay
No,
a
wait,
lot.
hang on. Oh my God. Oh fuck. Okay, I got
Okay.
excited. I thought Talcott was doing another on the street.
But
But
on the
because he
street,
used the same thumbnail, but it looks like he's just up and bored like the rest of us and doing another stream with somewhere in time. Wow. We should take a little peek. Look
on
at
the
her.
street,
She's
like,
sitting here she got her candles and everything. She looks like a ContraPoints video. Let me we should take a peek at this.
Jack used to go on the street and like interview people or something.
It's good health. It's spiritually uplifting.
Thank you. I was raised, I believed in a bunch of nonsense. Okay.
Jack,
was
what are you
such a
doing with your
confused
hair?
young man.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Is that
going to
grease?
massage,
Did
I
you
was
just get
actually
out of the
blessed
shower?
to experience
like
a couple of very talented
anti-love.
masseuse.
I can't really hear you, Jeff.
Oh, I'll go as that. I just want. Can you
I
hear me
think
now?
I think the male pattern baldness is getting to him.
Something's getting to him. Yeah, I want to do one of those on the street things. Frank said that he would puppeteer me one day, which I don't know what we're what I'm asking for there. Like what
does that mean? Like going out on the street with a microphone
like
and
Paul did with Talcott, where Paul was his navigator and Talcott. It was like the first person video game, and Talcott walked around the town, and Paul kind of navigated him. But I don't have one of those. I noticed Talcott had one of those little sticks that you could put the phone on, and I need to like I just have my hands, like I just hold the phone like this.
Yeah. Oh, I asked earlier in the chat if you've ever like grown your hair out, like any length at all. I was wondering if you ever did that.
Last week when I got my hair cut, that was some of the longest it's ever been. I hate long hair.
Wow.
And I even it was so long. I took a picture of the hair on the barber floor because there was so much of it, and I knew I was never going to see that amount of hair from my head again. So I went out of my way to snap a picture.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I always had short hair too, but I did go through a Jesus hair phase, and it was long, and I liked it, but it got, it gets really hot out here, and during the summertime, if you're working outside, it's like, forget it.
Oh. I think it's an autism thing. I need that feeling of openness and air on my head. I hate that heavy hair feeling.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, I think Noelle probably left us. I'm gonna bump her up.
I think she fell asleep. She looked like
Maybe
she crashed
so.
out last time, but she had a picture of.
But you know, she's trying to find her place, so that's good. I'm glad she stopped by.
Yeah.
It was about, yeah, you probably could have made a Shih Tzu from it.
Did you see? She went up on Flo's panel last night, and basically, he wasn't having it, and just dumped her right away and whatnot. She didn't understand what was going on. But I talked to her. It was like, don't take it personal. Flo's just running a business, and that's all it really is, basically. So
he's not a good starter channel for Bergs.
No,
I don't even go on his channel anymore because of the way the autism was handled.
Speakeasy is probably a little bit more chaotic and trolly, but Flows can get that way real quick.
I've never had a problem on Easy's panel. With Easy himself, it's always been the blood sports, but Easy himself is like the calm presence.
Really?
For me, anyway.
Yeah, he can. He gets out there sometimes. Maybe it's on other panels, but he can be flamboyant, and he's quite a character. But he's likable, but sometimes he can get pretty vicious, especially if you're wrong or attacking him.
Wrong, according to who?
Yeah, like he likes to talk about different subjects on like morality or whatever. Whether let's just say like a submersion or whatever. I don't want to say that word because like I see there's labels now. You know how I used to have the COVID label under your YouTube stream? Now there's one for
misinformation label.
Yeah. So I'm seeing that on different streams, and so I don't want to say it, But and I saw another one yesterday. I saw one about reptilian people, lizard people.
Oh my god! Oh, they have to have one for lizard people. Why don't they have one for flat Earth?
I think they do. Actually, I think they do.
I never see it on these streams. I saw they have one for climate change too. I saw it.
Yeah, but I saw the first reptilian shadow. It was something like that, but it was one. It said, this is all like myth, fiction, and lore, conspiracy theorists.
Let's try to get one put on. Be careful. The lizard people are here. They're taking over the world. The snake people. Be careful. Be careful who you trust. Anybody could be what do they call nagas? A naga, snake person.
Shapeshifter. Yeah.
Shapeshifters.
Let me try and find
lizard people, snake, shifter, snake people, lizard.
Like Joe Biden is the lizard.
Jack, what is it? David Icky, lizard.
I don't know if you saw that one video of Nancy Pelosi where she was like talking or whatever, and there's like a shapeshift in her face or whatever. It was like a technical glitch.
It was a real video or an AI?
Yeah, it was a while ago, but she was making a speech or whatever, and there was like a technical glitch, and it kind of skewed her face, and people were saying like she's a lizard person, reptilian or whatever.
Pelosi glitches unacceptable, will be fixed. What? This is from Associated Press. Wait, what? Let me see. I've never heard of this. I don't want to play it because it's copyrighted, but I want to take a quick look.
I'm trying to find a short that I saw yesterday where I saw that label. 10
years ago. Why isn't it showing me the face glitches? Come on. All right, I have it without the sound off. I'm just looking at the face.
How come don't your shorts go into your history?
It's Associated Press. That shouldn't be copyrighted, right?
I'm not sure, actually.
If they have but it's from 10 years ago. I'll risk it. All right, let's look at this face glitch. I'm going to do it without the sound.
While, of course, the situation right now is unacceptable. It's unfortunate. But we did not work very hard, and many of us dedicate our public service
How old is she
to a website. It was to an initiative for affordable quality health care to all Americans as a right, not a privilege. And that is what this initiative is about.
Am I going to even know
the fact that the website has I think beyond glitches, but whatever you want to call them, is disappointing. But it does not take away from the fact that that we are on a path. Is the implementation of it perfect in every way?
I don't know if this is the one.
But the goal of it still is the same. We're still very, very proud of that, and not for 1/2 a second, not a nanosecond.
I want to see her turn into a lizard. Yeah, if you can find it, I'll
I just posted it in the private.
All right.
That's
sorry for making y'all watch Pelosi. All right, here we're gonna play this one from DaFreak. Do I need the sound?
I don't think you do, but no, actually, don't.
Reptilian humanoids or anthropomorphic reptiles are fictional creatures that appear in folklore, fiction, and conspiracy theories, because it's all the same fucking thing. Conspiracy theories are fiction. They are modern folklore. Y'all are telling Hans Christian Andersen, Brothers Grimm, fairy tales. My God, I love her hat. I love her. All right. First of all, this whole thing looks AI. I thought it was Pelosi. Where's
no, this is the one I saw with the label of the humanoid. Whatever.
I want to see a tongue. I didn't see anything. What are y'all conspirators looking at?
Well, the like I guess there's a whole, there's reptilians or aliens or lizard, grays, shadow, all kinds of different like conspiracy theories or just flat out. I don't know what it is. It's probably a big psyop, but they have a label for the humanoid thing now.
Anything? Do I need those 3D glasses or anything to see it?
I don't know. Talk about like They Live. That one movie.
I didn't see anything on that Pelosi video, and I didn't see anything on the Joe Biden video. But people are seeing lizards.
Only the Biden one was like the long face and kind of like how it didn't really morph, but yeah, it could have been. Just
it looked weird because the quality was so poor, and it looked AI, like not even a human face from the beginning. But other than that, I didn't notice anything that stood out.
Yeah. There's I don't think that was the video, but there was one where Nancy Pelosi was doing a TV interview, and it kind of like there was a technical glitch where her face basically looked like it got skewed, just kind of like the whole picture kind of got skewed, but it was really only just on her face, and that's when people kind of freaked out and were saying, yeah, she's a shapeshifter, like you ever saw like Deep Space Nine. The Odo character, like
that was Renee Arzabar or some. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So, like those are that's one camp. You've got the alien, the reptilian, camp. You've got the Greys. You've got the demons. So I just saw that short yesterday, and that was the first time I saw that humanoid reptilian, lizard people label, and I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before either, and it is funny, especially when they tie it to conspiracy theories.
There's also one for the baby management too, So I don't want to say that one, but the
baby management.
Submartian or whatever.
What? Martian baby management?
No, the right to choose life or choose.
Abortion. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. There's a label for that now too.
Well, I want the lizard label on mine, or sorry, I'm eating.
Sorry.
The birds are not real label. I want that one. So y'all know birds are not real, right? They've all been replaced with CIA drones.
No, I haven't heard that one yet. It must be pretty new.
There's a whole website about it too. Put my label, YouTube. So is the Loch Ness Monster. I want one for him. I'm going to try to collect a different label every day.
There you go. CIA Jeff.
Hey.
All right. Yeah.
Well, you feel like winding down?
Yeah, I think I'll bow out and
do you have anything you want to close with or announce or promote or anything?
No, I don't think I have anything. So I'll just
Alrighty.
say good night, adieu, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Well,
Good stuff.
it was a good conversation. Thanks for coming up. And catch DaFreak out in the streets. You can find him pretty much on most panels in the comments.
Yeah. Thanks, bud.
Okay, take care. All right. That was a good stream today. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And Lindsay, I look forward to our deep archetypal conversation in the future. And I'll carve out some space for it without distractions and interruptions. Or without, we'll make, fuck it, what I said. Okay, good night, everybody. And see you. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow, the usual time. I'm going to be talking about, we talked about comedy the other day. I'm going to talk about the category of romance stories, how those are structured. And we're going to look at the hero's journey myth. Okay, take care and see you then.